Welcome, everybody. It's the MOSHCAST. It's the MOSHCAST. Almighty Sai.
Mr. Rillo.
Mr. Cruz, SLYYCRUZ.
SLYYCRUZ. You know, it's you want to talk about that? We can talk about that. You changed your name.
I did. So I started off as Cruz Deluxe, and I didn't even come up with that name on my own.
I'll pause real quick. 5 minutes. We can't cuss.
Okay.
All right. Just YouTube is
Yeah.
a bad guy.
They're a bad guy.
So okay, we can talk about
Okay,
You were
so-
Cruz Deluxe, and now you
Okay,
yeah.
I was Cruz Deluxe. I didn't make that name up on my own. It was a friend at the time. He was like, "Hey, I think you should be Cruz Deluxe. It sounds like you," and I rolled with it. But at the time, I was in some bad stuff, and you know, I figured, like that is me, and I identified as that.
Right.
But as I separated myself from these people, I realized that wasn't my identity. I need to form my own.
Right.
Because I'm me. And I came up with it from my favorite video game. Sure, you guys have played it. Sly Cooper. You ever play that?
I don't think so. What console is that?
It was on the PlayStation.
What year? Is it the old school?
It's like PS2.
SLYYCRUZ. What was it? What was it? Sly what? Cooper?
Sly Cooper. And
I'll have to look that up.
I just blanked on the name of the game, but I'm pretty sure it's not called Sly Cooper. But it's about a little raccoon and his gang of thieves, and like they're going out and they're stealing stuff.
Is it Bandicoot?
No, it's not Bandicoot.
Oh.
That's
Nah.
Crash Bandicoot.
Well, isn't he a little raccoon or something
Nah,
too?
he's
Right now.
he's a mongoose.
Is he really?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot's a mongoose.
I don't think I've even played that game, but I've never been much of
I
a video gamer.
I love Crash Bandicoot, dude.
Except for Sonic. Back in the day, I used to slay on Sonic. on
I
Sega Genesis.
I knew you were a Sonic guy.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
no, the
Sega
game
Genesis.
was literally called Sly,
Okay,
and it was called Thieves in Time. That was the last one that I played.
nice.
First one I played was just called Sly. The next one was Band of Thieves, and then yeah, I just really related to that. That was my favorite character.
Right.
And he spells it just SLY. I added 2 Y's because I'm Sly.
You Sly, dude.
And then my last name, Cruz.
Right.
'Cause that's me.
'Cause that's you, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad you changed it up. Like, it means something to a lot of people when it comes to like changing a lot of your perspective in life, and like a lot of people stick to these names, and like, fortunately, like, with my rap name and what I do is with Almighty Sai. I've actually tried to change Almighty Sai. I've tried to change it where it was like one time I was Milkweed, one time I was Tall Boy, but I always went back to Almighty Sai. And the only reason I did that was because like there was people in my my group when I was living at home being like, "You're not Almighty. There's only one Almighty." And I'm like, "But you don't understand the reasoning behind the name of that, and it'll pop up soon." But that's badass. That's good.
No, it felt good. It felt like a whole new identity change, and I cut my hair right before it too. I used to have hair down in here.
Yeah.
It was curly as fuck.
Then you're in your bathroom in the mirror, and you're like, Sly, 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 Sly.
I don't know.
Sly,
We passed 5
Sly,
minutes, but you can bleep
Sly.
that one out.
That's all right. We can bleep them out. I did want to talk about something a little bit serious, maybe like to pass the time since 5 minute. I got word last night that WT didn't even cancel, but like they like wouldn't have like a drag show, and I got the email for what the superintendent said about it.
All right, let's hear it.
If you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Walter V. Wandler, the president. So this is the president of WT, Walter V. Wandler.
Sounds like he's really old.
Yeah, very old. A harmless. So I don't know if this is something that like somebody commented on that whole email, but it said a harmless drag show. No such thing. West Texas AMU University will not host a drag show on campus. It was advertised for March 31st, 2023 as an effort to raise money for the Trevor Project. The nonprofit organization focuses on suicide prevention, a noble cause in the LGBT community. Any person considering self-harm for any reason is tragic. He goes, I believe every human being is created in the image of God, and therefore a person of dignity being created in God's image is a basis of natural law. James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, prisoners of the culture of, I believe, culture of their times, as are we, declared the Creator's origin as the foundational fiber in the fabric of our nation as they breathe life into it. So, first off, we're already bringing religion into this, and I don't know if we should in a college, but
You definitely shouldn't.
yeah.
No.
Does a drag show preserve a single thread of human dignity? I think not. As a performance exaggerating aspects of womanhood, quotations, sexuality, femininity, gender, unquotations, drag shows stereotype women in cartoon-like extremes for the amusement of others and discriminate against womanhood? Any event which diminishes an individual or group through such representation is wrong. I registered a similar concern on campus when individuals debased Latinas regarding a quinceañera celebration. Should I let rest misogynistic behavior portraying women as objects? Okay, dude. Okay, bro. All right. While I'm not a woman, my best friend I have been married to for over a half a century is. What? Is he not married? He's like, my best friend's been married to one for sure, though.
I think he's saying my best friend is a woman.
Oh, okay, my best friend. Okay.
Who's married to.
Okay, which is
His wife.
so dumb. I am also blessed to have daughter-in-laws and granddaughters. Demeaning any demeans all. This is not an intellectual abstraction, but a stark reality. Dude, I don't know if I should read the rest of this.
I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah, this is crazy, bro. Like,
that's the Panhandle of Texas, though.
he didn't even look up the history of drag queen.
Well, I don't even know what his final take is.
Like he just believes it's wrong. He believes that drag.
Well, they're very conservative at WT.
Yeah, but like,
Canyon,
dude,
so I mean, I can see that.
But
Just
he's
probably protecting the masses more than he's protecting in his mind.
In his mind, for sure, but it's showing.
But it's a college campus.
And
it's people of age. So
and people like you're literally talking about people that actually come from overseas to be here. We have a whole world like Zootopia type of like vibe where like people from everywhere show up to these colleges and they learn and they have different cultures and different styles and different ways of life and blah blah blah. And it's like, bro, like, you didn't even give the time to research any type of what drag shows
he
meant,
didn't. No.
They were about, what they were for. Like, and that's just learning about drag shows. That's not even like talking about like human what am I talking the structure or like the mental like all the mental stuff that goes in that's involved in all that stuff. Like people's lives get saved because of drag shows.
That's true. Like
people's lives get saved being in part of a house. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, "What?" A sense
of camaraderie. That's where they find it.
It's like us going. It's like us going to perform at a bar or a concert or a place, and we put on a persona, and that's who we are. Almighty Sai is a person.
You're talking about the artistic expression.
Yeah, artistic expression.
And that's what a drag show is. It's artistic expression.
And it's not even sexualizing or it is an extreme. It is an extreme thing, but it's not
some
about
of it
sexualizing.
is. Some of it is, I think. But I think if that's what people want to express themselves, then I think being free. But he has the freedom to police his university. At the same time.
You're right. As a devil's advocate, for sure.
But, but I'm not even playing devil's advocate. I'm just looking at it from all angles.
But if you had a giant like thing that you were holding in the palm of your hand, would you diminish or cancel any type of something that somebody wanted to do in your hand? You know what I'm saying? in your building or your vicinity or whatever.
I think, you know, in a situation like that, there's donors that are involved. There's a lot of people that he's probably having to keep in mind and have to protect, because the moment he goes that route, there's probably some people that
money. Yeah.
Yep. And so he's probably looking at the big picture more than just this one thing. In his defense,
right?
Do I think that people should have the ability to express themselves in that way? Yes, but they also have to find a place that is going to be accepting of that, or else, you know.
But a college university should be the place that's accepting of that, and that's the thing.
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of people that are canceled across the nation when they're supposed to speak at these college campuses that are getting, and from conservative to, you know, all across the spectrum, that are getting canceled and not able to come and do their thing.
Right.
So, I mean, that's not the only type of performance or type of public display that I think is getting cut off. Because it's on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So I'll just add that to that list of, you know, because there's conservative speakers that are not being allowed to go speak at these campuses for that same type of reason, because they're worried it's going to cause some type of problem.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's like I
agree with that? No.
Right.
But a college campus, I don't know how it is set up legally, but I know that they have the right to say yay or nay on what they want to bring on campus.
In a perfect world, I wish everybody was like Joe Rogan in his podcast. Because I know that Joe Rogan has his belief systems or whatever, but he brings everybody.
And he'll listen.
He'll listen. I mean, he might argue every once in a while and, like, you know, try to hit a nerve or whatever. But what I like about what he does is that, like, he brings every single person and talks at least about that certain topic. Yeah. And sticks to that, and it's a conversation. It's not an argument. It's not, hey, I'm not going to see you ever again. You can't be on my podcast anymore. You can't do this.
It's not Adam 22.
Yeah, it's not, dude. It's not Adam 22, bro.
Well, but he's got his platform, and he can use that.
Yeah, like I said, in a perfect
to
world,
express his free speech and have his guests express their free speech too. However, I don't know what the legality is of a college campus, but I know that president is able to express his own beliefs and pass his own judgment or just decision on what he's going to allow for hopefully the betterment of everybody in his viewpoint. I don't know exactly if that's going to accomplish that with what he's deciding or not.
I mean, I see his point. I grew up in Canyon, and I grew up Catholic, and you know, there's a lot of Mormons in Canyon. There's a lot of Methodists in Canyon.
It's very conservative.
It's super conservative.
No, it's
so you
very
can imagine,
white.
It's very white. Like
there's people of all, but I mean,
I went to the schools, bro.
I mean, but
I go by Jamie because I couldn't go by Jaime, because I would be called Jaime or Hyman, and I didn't like that.
Right.
So I had to choose the feminine route, and I go by Jamie, and I still choose that because, like,
they just refuse to.
They refuse to accept that my name's Jaime. They would be like Jaime, and I'd be like, call me Jamie.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's probably just something new that people had never heard before.
I know.
Is what I'm guessing.
But here's the
it's
thing.
not a normal name. It's not a normal name that they probably heard though.
But that's one of the most popular names in the world.
This might be a hot topic.
Muhammad's the number one.
Muhammad?
Jamie is the most Jaime is the most popular name in Hispanic culture.
Okay.
Okay, for sure. I can see that. But this might be a hot topic, right? Whenever I go to
How do you know Hispanic?
Hymen?
Jaime.
Jaime.
Hymen is what you pop whenever you pop the cherry.
I thought.
That's why I hated that.
But like when I go to a Hispanic restaurant or I'm talking to a Hispanic and I speak in a Spanish word, I try to say it the way it's supposed to be. As a white person, I'm not gonna say polo de carnitas, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to say it the way it's supposed
Pollo
to
de
be.
carnitas.
Yeah.
See, I can't roll my anything, even though I have 4 years of college Spanish. I butcher it all, even when as hard as I try.
Right. And people giggle at me because they're like, "Dude, that's not how you talk." But I'm like, "But that's how they talk." And if I'm going to talk to them in their language,
experience that culture, then I'm going to try.
I'm going to try. Yeah. I'm going to do my best. Dude, and that's the thing too. Is like Friona's real bad at that. Dude, there was a kid.
My parents are from Friona.
Dude, and so you kind.
I know.
Dude,
I know.
So there was a kid. I'm not gonna dox him, but he was the first that I've seen, like that wanted to transition to a boy, and he was in like 6th grade, and he dressed like a boy. You know, he cut his hair and all that stuff, and all he wanted to be called was Oscar. That's all he wanted to be called was Oscar. Just call me Oscar. Okay, cool. They refused. The school refused to do that. And I'm like, dude, like you have this kid right here that runs track, and you call him A Miles or whatever, you know.
And that's not his name.
It's not his name. It's a nickname. Like, why can't you see it that way?
Yeah.
Why can't you see it as just a nickname?
Well, and so for me, I think a lot of confusion and breakdown in the communication go from people not knowing exactly how to refer to certain people like me who are wide open and willing to call whatever they want to be called. But there's a lot of times when I haven't been clear about what I should refer to this or that as. And so my wording for certain people or things has been off, not out of disrespect, just out of not knowing exactly how to refer to them. But once I learn, it's like, okay, then I have no problem.
It's so new.
It's so new.
Right.
And they get mad at you whenever you refer to them as something else. Like,
yeah, when it's brand new.
But I don't know. Like, how was I supposed to know that?
So you get that as well as I get that.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe the same as your name, maybe being called something different. Maybe it's just that they didn't quite know exactly, and it's brand
and
new.
that's why I stick to artist names because, dude, whenever I talk about Rillo, I'm like, yeah, his name's Rillo, and they're like, who's Rillo? I'm like, dude, that's all I know him by. I don't know anything other than Rillo. That's what.
Do you ever call me Alex?
No, dude, I don't.
And so when I introduce myself to people, I've been Alex for many, many, many years. And so I'm like, Alex. He's like, it's Mr. Rillo. Like he'll be in the background. He'll be across the whole the whole place.
Dude,
I'll be like, hey, I'm Alex. He'll be like, it's Mr. Rillo. I'll be like, okay, I'm Mr. Rillo.
Yeah, there's some artists that are a part of my little circle. Don't know their real name. I just know them by their artist name. That's it. That I'm like.
That's how they.
Yeah.
That's how they.
I should be like, it's Mr. Rillo to you, Almighty Side.
Big O, I can never remember his name. I know him now because he's on my Facebook, but I can never remember his name because I just know him by Big O.
And I added Mr. Rillo to my Facebook name after I started Rillo Roofing, and then started Rillo Hats, and then I started recording music as Mr. Rillo just based off of that.
Wait, do you know CJ?
Who's that?
Colin?
No.
No. All right, never mind.
Why's that?
You said Rillo Roofing. He used to work for a roofing company, and he'd go knocking doors. And
Yeah. That's how I got my start back in 2013, and then I rolled that into my own roofing company, which I partnered with a custom home builder here, Shane Ward. And 3 years into it, we parted ways. I sold my shares, but we had a good run at it, and that's where it started. Then I started Rillo Hats, and now my Monday's dwindling, and I'm trying to figure out what to do next.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Dude, you said it. Speaking of Adam 22, dude.
Yes.
So did you like?
I did. I looked into that.
You researched it, huh?
And he got called out on his own podcast, and he kicked the dude out.
Yep.
That's not how you run a podcast.
No. I mean, there has been instances where people have kicked people out.
I mean, but you're punching someone, but he's not punching him. He's hitting them with words that are facts.
Right.
But they were working on that podcast together. And I think what we witnessed was just the falling out of it on air.
No,
you know what I mean?
You're talking about Lush.
Well, no, I'm talking about the phone guy. What's his name? Something phone.
Well, he's
yeah.
on the phone.
No.
He's recording it on his phone exactly what he's telling Adam. And Adam's like, you got to get out of here.
It was Phone Booth.
Phone Booth was his name, though, wasn't it?
I can't tell you.
I know who you're talking about.
I
think it was Phone Booth.
But we witnessed him get fired on live air.
Yeah.
And that everything was deleted.
Oh, it was?
Except for what was on his phone, because he recorded what he was doing.
You're good, bro. You're good. You can look around.
Tiptoe, bro.
Yeah.
Do your thing, bro.
So that happened, and then did you see about how I can't remember what their names are, but it was a group of people, and they're called pedo catchers or something like that, or
it's called MOSHCAST.
And they called that out on pod, and they're like, "You gotta get out." Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
okay, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
He was on some stuff too.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
Phone
check it out,
Booth was
dude.
the same way.
All right,
he was
you
calling
too, bro.
them out, but he was on the phone, and he was like, "We're not gonna talk about this," and then he started firing people off of the podcast like empire that he built, which was a guy named Lush, which was a horrible rap on him because he told Lush something, and I guess Lush had said something in the forum or whatever, and it was bad. And then he kicked him off the show, and then people started quitting after that. Like it was just the Adam 22 just caused this whole
Shout out Adam 22.
Yeah,
Anytime you want me on, baby. Come
Fuck that. You know, and that's the thing too is like I'm really upset about it. I'm really upset about it because like I saw Adam 22 as like inspiration of what I'm doing. You know, with the music and everything. And I'm like, dude, like I really like what he's doing. He's pretty chill about it. He likes controversy. He talks about the crazy stuff.
But he doesn't like his own controversy.
No, he doesn't. But that's
Who
the
does,
crazy
though. You know what I mean? That's human nature to be like, yeah, screw y'all. But me, we're not talking about me right now. We're talking about you type
but
shit.
But that's the wrong way to treat it if you're in a podcast.
It is.
Right.
But obviously, he's got some underlying issues that he's probably trying to protect from coming out.
Oh, we're gonna talk about him right here.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, she was 16, bro.
Dude, I got this
yeah, which is illegal.
Well,
you can't use that word, by the way, the P word, because they'll demonetize it.
Oh, right. But I already said it. It's not a big deal.
I don't think you said the P.
The P.
I don't even know how to spell that word.
The Puedo. But we're
P-E-D,
gonna call this game. Is it cancelable?
Let's just say he's
let's play it. It's a cancelable.
He's using PEDs, but we're talking about.
Yeah. we're gonna play a game called Is It Cancelable? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
This is all Adam 22's tweets. So we're gonna say, is it cancelable? Is it not cancelable? We'll find out. Adam 22 quotes: "Pussy is the opposite of fine wine. It tastes worse with age."
That's cancelable.
You think
That's
so?
cancelable.
That's funny, I think.
Are you like, you know, 1920?
Hey, watch it, because we got
1920. I mean.
Think about his age.
He's like what, 40, 50, 40, 48?
So what's he talking about whenever he references that?
That's true.
No, he's saying older chicks aren't as fresh as.
But he's that old.
Yeah,
so who's he going for?
Yeah, who is he going?
Young.
I mean, what's
But
his name?
let's assume
Leonardo
he's talking
DiCaprio
about.
goes only,
Yeah, that's another
Leonardo
one.
Let's assume
DiCaprio.
he's talking about 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
All right, let's
compared to a
assume he's talking about
50-year-old.
20-year-olds.
But
I
when you-
agree.
when you
I
look-
agree.
I don't
Then
know.
I would agree. Like,
Okay. So I don't think that's
I don't
cancelable.
know.
I think
It's
that's
cancel-
funny.
I think it's a little okay.
And a little out there. He's obviously
it's a
pushing the
little funny,
limit.
but I mean,
He's
if
pushing
you-
the limit.
If you think on other things,
Right,
and you're like
right.
That
"That's
you already
cancelable."
know about
Right.
him, maybe,
Right.
but I don't necessarily know. I don't know if it's been.
But if you're reading that out of the context, that's funny.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the second one.
Yeah, right.
Here's the second
I
one.
agree.
Adam 22 tweet quotes: "Let's f the kids."
Cancel. Well, I don't know. I don't think anything's cancelable, but I would say that's.
Taken out of context, that's not cancelable. I would say, like
Like fuck them kids.
exactly. Yeah, like, and that makes
Okay.
sense.
Next.
Okay. Next.
I would think that was funny. You know?
Number 3. Adam 22 quotes: "Most blacks are habitual line steppers," in quotations.
That's cancelable.
Okay. And then there's another one. Adam 22 quotes: "Blame blacks," retweet: "Watching you get progressively more intoxicated is pretty entertaining." Oh, I don't know what that means.
I know exactly what that means.
I'm gonna stay away from any color, any race. I'm staying away from that.
Well, we're just calling.
No,
You're just
for
reading
sure.
his stuff
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. So this isn't you.
Yeah.
I know you're reading
Ooh.
him right now, but
See,
this ain't you.
See, this is one that I do not like. So Alfredo Mancuso, I don't know who that is, but Adam 22 commented: "Pretend you aren't a complete SPIC for a second and turn your volume off." SPIC?
I'd have to look up what the word means.
You don't know what the word SPIC means? Aren't you Hispanic?
Oh. That's definitely
It's a
cancelable.
derogatory.
I don't like
Yeah,
that
it's
word at all.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't see things as derogatory just because I grew up in Canyon around that. Where like, like I was called, "Oh, you're my brown friend, so I'm not racist."
Right.
I got Mexican friends, I'm not racist. They point at me, I'd be like, "I'm not your friend."
Right.
Well, we're friends on Facebook, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I guess with the allegations and everything that happened with that one female, and then everything he posts on Twitter, with like really weird like rapey, kiddie stuff. I don't know. I think it should
It's
be
cancelable
cancelable.
if you look at it in a full picture. If you're looking at it and you don't know any context, it's laughable.
Right.
But if you know the story, then like, no, that's pure cancellation.
Right.
Like I said, shout out Adam 22. What's up, man? Anytime you want me.
Yeah, if you want to talk,
I'd love to sit there and bullshit with him, because what we're talking about, guys, as far as canceling, is free speech. But at what point does free speech put other people at harm? And I think that's where free speech becomes assault in a way.
Right.
In a way, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where you can get, slander charges and whatnot.
Well, and you can put other people at risk, because all of a sudden we start using that kind of terminology that can create physical harm towards people.
Right. It can.
Because next thing you know, maybe someone thinks that it's okay to use that word. They don't realize how offensive it is. And then let's say a white person like me calls you that. Next thing you know, I'm picking up my teeth.
It's like back in the day, we used to say, well, that's gay.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Or that's our word.
Or like, you're a faggot. But then 5 years down the line, if you say that, you're canceled.
Bad.
Well, I used to use that F word in 3rd grade because I heard my sister's friends calling each other that, which they probably didn't even realize the real meaning of it either, really. But
back
as
then,
a 3rd grader, I had no clue what that was. But I got accustomed to calling my friends, if you were my good friend, I'm going to call you that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, as an adult, I'm still using that word with my close friends. And I got me and one of my friends he was gay. And I called him that one day, just like I call all my friends that. And he was like, "What'd you say?" I was like, "I called you you're my friend. That's what I call everybody." He goes, "Don't call me that." And I'm like, then I realized, okay, my friends who aren't that way, screw it, you're that too. And then one of my friends was gay, and then he was like, "Nah." He checked me. He was like, "Nah,
Don't
and
say
I was
that.
like,
See, that's why I stay away.
and I
from
fought him
words
on it.
like
I fought him on it. I was
that.
like, "You're my friend. That's
100%.
what I call you." And then I started realizing, dude, that's the 3rd grade me. Why am I still hanging on to that? If someone doesn't want to be called a certain thing, I need to respect that.
Right,
Exactly.
100%.
Regardless of if it's ingrained in my head, and if you're my real friend, that's what we call each other. Not even talking about your sexual orientation. That's just, if you're my friend, that's that. I'm trying to let go of it. It's one of those things that I really try not to.
And it's hard to let go because it was ingrained in you as a child.
Yeah, and that's to me, it's like a term of endearment.
Yeah,
It's like you call your friend, you're like, "Dude, you are such a nerd," and then it goes from there.
Exactly.
Because I don't know. There's something about calling your friend something really offensive.
Well, and it's just like my
Am I right,
podcast,
though?
You are.
That's how you know if you're my real friend or not, because I'm going to call you something. If you walk in, I'm like, "Hey, buddy." I'm like, "What's up, you little piece of
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you know you're my friend.
That's how you
I don't know how many words we've called each other.
Yeah, for real.
And with love, out of love.
Yeah. It's just like the podcast. Like, there's some things that I've said that are borderline, really offensive. Like, lobotomies are cool.
Are they?
Nixon's my president.
Nixon's my president.
I thought you were talking about nixing your president in that one song we did, because I have a song that says it's referencing a girl wanting me to send a dick pic, and so I send her a picture of Richard Nixon, which Richard is another word for dick.
And then I said Nixon's my president, like Doug Dimmadome.
Yeah.
But
and mine says that she want to kiss my lips. I let her kiss my Richard Nixon.
Yeah, and then I said,
Ooh,
Nixon's my
Mr. Rillo
president.
is so offensive. That's what. And then he comes in
Yeah.
talking about Nixon, my president, which I took as a double entendre to mean nixing the current president, Nixon, my president,
I guess
and then
you can
Nixon.
take it that way too, but
that's-
Nixon is my president for sure, though.
Oh, really?
Dude.
I thought that was a double entendre
No,
that you
dude,
used.
he was above his time, dude. He was Watergating everybody before.
He was.
Dude,
Watergating?
Zuck right now, Zuckerberg is Watergating everybody, and everybody's just letting
Explain
it go
that.
away. Nixon was Watergating the whole world, and they're like, impeach him.
What do you
So-
mean Watergate? Because
Cancel.
Watergate was
So-
a specific. It was a specific
The
situation.
Watergate scandal was Nixon got super paranoid about everybody talking about him assassination and stuff. So what he did was he got a whole like a building worth of phones, and he was listening.
all of
He was
them.
tapping into people's phones and stuff, and then that's what got him impeached. But
because he lied about it too.
yeah, but Zuck's over here. I know he's hearing us right now. I know
Hey,
that he's
shout out
I don't
Zuckerberg.
Facebook on my phone, bro. I don't trust that fool. I don't trust Meta.
Yeah.
I don't trust any of that.
Yeah.
Dude, he's listening. Everybody's listening.
Well, I've
to us
embraced
right now.
it, and I'm like,
I mean,
hey,
I know he
enter
knows
at your own
Instagram
risk.
Too, so he's listening.
Well, I don't even have a phone lock on, and so any girl I'm dating, it's like, oh, you want to look at my phone? Well, hey, enter at your own risk. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't deleted anything off of that since day one. So have at
You
it,
better figure it out.
but enter at your own risk, like I said. 'Cause you may not look at me the same afterwards, but I ain't gonna delete nothing off of there.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm willing, and it sounds like you're kind of at a spot like that yourself. From what you've told me as far as your spot where you're at in your life. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
So I'm sober now.
Like completely.
Completely.
100%.
100%. I don't even smoke weed.
Wow.
You ain't on that what do we call it? The
California sober.
California sober,
So,
which means you're still.
I'm sober. Yeah, and the big wake up call for me, it started whenever I got this dog. You know, at the time, I'm not gonna say why I went to a friend's house because it's incriminating, but I went to a friend's house and he opened up the door kind of slightly, and I saw this little tail wagging in the back, little blonde tail.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "You haven't met her yet." And I was like, "Met who? Like, open the door, bro." He's like, all right. But be prepared. Like, she's a little excited.
Was it his new girlfriend?
He opens up the door, and this little puppy looks me dead in the eyes, bro. Has brown eyes that look just like mine. Takes off full sprint, jumps off a 3-step, and lands in my arms.
Crazy.
And I wanted to start crying.
Right.
And I looked at him and I said, "Who owns this dog?" He's like, "Well, I saved her from the streets 3 days ago." And he found her. He was at his grandma's house smoking weed with his grandma. We both worked the same job at the time. We were knocking doors. He was like.
So you used to knock doors too? We'll get to that in a minute. I'm sure we have some door knocking stories that we could throw back and forth.
I have some cool door knocking stories.
Dude,
but,
anyways, we'll stay on topic.
So
here.
he comes out the house after smoking with his grandma, and this little black dog walks up to him, and it doesn't make a whimper or nothing. He like just gets down on his knees and like looks at it, and it puts its paws on his knees. Like, keep in mind, this dog's like this big at the time.
Right.
And he goes inside. He says, "Grandma, do you recognize this dog? Does anyone in the neighborhood own this dog?" She said, "No." Like, take it home. So he took her home. He flea treated her, gave her some baths, cleaned her up. Find out she was blonde.
Nice.
She
what
was
color
skin and
was
bone.
she at the time?
Black.
Like
So
completely.
she was
dark.
just
Skin and bone.
dirty.
Black skin and bone. Like, there's no
Poor
telling
little
what happened
baby.
to the little baby. Like,
That's crazy.
and she was 4 months old at the time. 4 months when I got her. So she sees me and she comes running out the house. I grab her and I'm like, "Dude, who owns her?" He's like, "I can't keep her. I've already had her on Facebook for 3 days. No one claimed her. She's free game. I want someone to take her, and I want her to go to a good home."
Right.
And I said, "Well, bro, don't give her to anyone. Don't announce that you have this dog. I'm going to PetSmart right now. Her name is Mo." And he
You
looked
fell
at me
in love.
He looked at me crazy. He goes, "That's her name?" I was like, "That's her name. Call her that. Like, her name's Mo. I'll be right back." I came back 2 hours later with all the stuff I needed. I had a bed, I had the collar, I had the fucking name tag, you know, and I had the food.
The name tag is what did it.
And
The ingrained name tag? You already had that shit ingrained, bro?
yes, sir, I did. and she'd be here with
Showed
me
up
right
with
now.
the bling, bro. You gave her that bling.
She'd be here with me right now, but I had counseling before this, and I don't want to take her to that.
Right,
So
right.
How's counseling going?
it's going good. I love counseling. I get to just talk and get someone listening to me, and
Like, and they write it down. I'm like, what are you writing?
they don't even write stuff down. Like, she just literally listens to me talk, and that's something I enjoy because it's someone who doesn't know me and doesn't judge me.
Right, right.
And I get the same out of AA, but we'll get on that later. Let's keep talking about this dog.
Yeah.
So I took her home, and I immediately took her to the we have a big barn at the house I live at. I took her to the barn. I was in there with her, and I was playing with her. I bought her some toys. We're playing around, and then my baby brother and my dad get home, and the rest of the family, I guess, they go inside. But my dad and my baby brother walk inside the shed or the barn because they notice I'm in there. And my baby brother immediately goes, "Puppy!" He comes running over. He's grabbing her. He's playing with her. I'm like, "Her name's Mo. It's a girl." And then my dad looks at me, and he's kind of shaking his head.
What is it about dads that always are just so
He's just like-
pissed off when you bring home a puppy?
He's like, and I look at him, and I say, "Her name's Mo. She's staying regardless of what you say."
Uh-huh.
Like,
Well,
I got
I'm
the
leaving.
name tag, I got the bed, I got the food. I just spent $120. You're not telling me to take this dog back because
Right.
it's mine.
Right,
I'll do what I have to do to keep her.
right.
And he said, "All right, that's your dog." He said, "Let's see what your mom says." We go inside, and my mom meets her, and immediately my mom fell in love with her, and
Oh, heck yeah.
became an inside dog. You know,
Nice.
Oh, nice.
like at first it was like we let her go outside and whatnot. It was summertime, but then slowly but surely, after all the flea treatments and everything I gave her, and she was like clean, her fur was clean.
Right.
It was like, "All right, come inside." And then she, at one point, I was feeding her food. She would only eat pedigree,
yeah.
the weird, like, nasty, like, packets. That's all she would eat.
Those packets that is kind of moist.
Yeah, that's all she would
It's
eat.
not the wet dog food, but it's kind of
But
the
it's all
moist
she
little
would
stuff.
eat.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was feeding her at the time. And I knew it was bad for her, but it's all she would eat. And I
Why is it bad
I had
for
to
her?
get that weight up.
Pedigree is just not a really
Pedigree
good.
is not good. Like
Oh.
I feed her Iams now, and that's a really good healthy dog breed.
Right.
Oh.
But pedigree is terrible. It is not good.
Compare that to like a human food.
McDonald's compared to a salad
Yeah. But Donald's pretty bad.
without dressing.
Without dressing.
So, there was this one point where, and this is whenever I knew this dog has a big personality, bro. I would take her outside to feed her, and she wasn't eating the food anymore. And I was like, why aren't you eating? And so, like, my mom was like, why don't you feed her inside with us? I was like, well, I didn't think y'all would be cool with that.
Right.
And she's like, well, just bring the food bowl inside and let her eat with us. So I brought the food bowl inside while we're eating dinner, and she starts eating. And I'm like, holy smokes. Like, this dog wanted to be accepted as part of the family, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's what dogs have, that instinct. They want to be part of the herd.
Exactly.
Just like humans do too. Don't let people fool you that try to act like they just don't need anybody, that don't want friends.
Alone, bro.
We're herd mentalities.
and
dogs
that's
are
what she was
even
doing.
more so.
Nah.
She was like, I want you to bring me in the house. I want you to bring me in here, and I want to be accepted. And that's what happened that day. Like, she got in the house. And then, from that point on, I quit going out. I quit partying. Like, I realized something else loved me that was greater than myself. I didn't have self-love at the
Bars.
time. I
Right.
didn't. I had none. Like,
Right.
I didn't care about myself. If I die the next day, so be it.
Right.
But then I got that dog, and I felt the love of that dog and the love it brought me and the love I felt for it. I realized I can love myself.
Right.
I quit
right.
going out. I quit partying. I quit hanging out with certain people. That was around July of last year. But I'd still do dumb things. And then, come January, I had a wake-up call. I was like, this ain't for me. I gotta quit. I gotta quit doing what I'm doing. And I quit all the hard drugs.
Nice.
And
You want to talk about the wake-up call?
yeah, I'll talk about the
Like,
wake-up
like,
call.
do you want to know? Like, 'cause I want to know what happened.
So I was on a lot of drugs and hallucinogenics,
Oh, nice.
and I'm looking up at the trees, and the birds are speaking to me. And then I look at my dog, and she's sitting there, and she looks me in my eyes, and like telepathically, she told me, "You gotta stop this, man.
Right.
Like, I need you, but understand, you need me more." And,
Wow.
And I quit it all.
You're like, fuck it. I'm out.
I quit it all. And, my last sip of alcohol was on the 14th, and then I attended AA on the 14th.
Oh,
No,
nice.
on the 15th, on the day after. My last drink, I got obliteratedly drunk.
Of this month? 14th of this month?
Of this month, yes.
Okay.
And then I attended AA after that because I was like, you know what? I'm on probation.
Right.
Okay, like I can't be messing up anymore. I've already been given second chances, third chances. Like I can't mess up anymore.
Right, right.
I was thinking I was greater than the system. I could get by. I could sneak around,
What is it about addicts being just so intelligent all the time?
But we're not. Our thinking is what gets us there.
Yes.
Our thinking is what
I almost
gets
said
you there.
thinking that we're so intelligent, but we are, but at the same time not, because that
It's like Rick and
addiction
Morty.
makes you so stupid.
It's like Rick and Morty. Like Rick's always thinking, this is the next best thing. But how many planets has he messed up?
Right, right. True.
So like
True.
That's a good reference, dude.
how many
Seriously.
things has he messed up
But-
thinking this is for the greater cause?
And so,
rebellion.
so maybe you're at that point too, where it's like, hey, what's the common denominator? Me, and then what is the thing that's bringing me down? And it's this wanting to control the way I feel instead of just being like, and that's an intelligence thing. When you're so intelligent, you're like, okay, I can manipulate my whole world around me, and it works for a while, but dude,
Right.
But
it
it
don't work
doesn't.
forever.
It doesn't work.
You think it works.
It's a quick fix.
You think it
That's all
works.
it is.
You think it's working, but all of a sudden you're
You're falling
digging that
apart.
hole and digging that hole and digging that hole. Next thing you know, you're like, all right, where am I? Holy freak!
I put myself here.
Yes,
right.
by this thinking.
Yeah. And
It doesn't mean you're not smart because
Well, and also-
from the
also-
moment me and you started talking though, I'm like, all right, this dude's
Well,
intelligent.
but
You know what I'm saying? Your
here's
personality, the way you present yourself. Me and you connected like that.
Here's the thing too: is like we also need to understand that people that have a super hard time, like that are addicts, like addiction is a disease,
It is.
and
It is.
people don't understand that, like when you come off of something like that, or like when you have such a when addiction has such a grasp onto your life, their thinking is not
Your
them
thinking.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so like, you know, I can't perceive myself being that way because I'm not an addicted person. I have never been addicted to anything. I've never been an addict of anything. But I will say though, like I have anxiety, and I overthink things, and I can't. Whenever I'm in that situation, I can't change the way I think until something else there is or whatever changes my
course
path.
of thinking or
Yeah.
feelings and this and that.
Yeah.
And I'm taking credit for it because it's a one-time deal. But I don't know how many other times. Hopefully, there's more times that I've taken away like your anxiety when we're
Right,
working on
right.
stuff. But one time on cast, he's like, or no, we were at the studio.
Right.
He's like, dude, I don't know what's going on, man. I go, dude, hey, and I don't remember what I said, but it was something like, hey, we're cool, man.
Just breathe.
You
We're
know,
just
no
chilling.
big deal. I'm happy you're here. Hopefully, you're happy I'm here. I'm excited as hell.
Right.
You know, we were excited on our way here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get back to that, bro.
And-
And I don't know how long it took for that to take.
No, yeah, like, it's
mold.
like 5 minutes.
But then
It
all of a
was
sudden
like,
he was back to himself.
Yeah.
But I thought that was so cool the way you voiced that to me. You're like, dude, I don't know what's going on, but I'm like freaking out.
Right.
And I think
It's
you're
a
probably just
panic attack.
overwhelmed
Yeah.
Panic
because we
attack.
just showed up to the studio. Me and him hadn't worked together before. Maybe this was our second time in there, so we had,
Right.
but not in this setting. But you had the show coming up that you knew you had to
Right,
get with them on.
right.
So you were probably, and I've experienced that same anxiety. When you get to the studio, you got all these songs you're wanting to do. Then you get to the studio and they're like, okay, what's up? What you trying to do? And you're like, oh, fuck, where do I go? Where do I start? I got
Right.
15 songs I want to do. Where do I start? And it's like you finally had that chance to express yourself in the studio with the producer. And it's
But
like,
that-
where do
but-
I start? Oh, God. And I
But
felt that
that's-
anxiety. Isn't that crazy?
I think that's what it is. Is like you said, people don't want to feel these emotions that we have. So we
a
numb
quick
it.
fix.
So we numb it with coke or meth or, you know, any type of drug that is around, or any alcohol or weed. Even weed, dude. Like I'm sorry, but I've seen people completely 100% addicted to marijuana.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
it's-
addicted. Yeah.
Addicted.
No, they needed it. They woke up and that was the first thing.
Yeah, like,
you
I
know?
can't eat
As
without
soon as they
this
came
shit.
down, that's the next thing. You know.
Right,
Like,
right.
And it's like whenever weed started coming around as a painkiller, this and that, I understand it has its medicinal purposes. I do that. I know that.
Right.
And it's way better than taking a pill.
Right. 100%.
It has its
definitely.
uses, but it just like that, it has its abuses too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I think
everything,
know?
everything does though. Everything.
Hamilton-
does.
Everything does. Food.
Pharmacopoeia.
Think about this. We're all addicts if you think about it. Every
dude.
person on this earth is an addict.
I mean, we're
Now-
drinking coffee and Monster drinks right now. Like,
well, but just to stay alive, you have to be an addict towards food.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Towards nutrition.
You're addicted
nutrients.
to breathing.
No, dude, you know what? You know what's crazy?
My lungs weren't so
I am
addicted to breathing, bro. I wouldn't be.
I will say I'm addicted to something. You know what I like to do? I mean, it's something that like
Wear women's
I know
shirts.
it's like silly and stupid, but like I work when I go to work. I like to get my sandwiches, and I like to get 2 Reese's the fast break bars.
Those are good.
are
And
good,
dude,
though.
Those are so
dude,
good.
They're so
the way
good,
they
bro.
reformatted those, and I don't know
They're
what
so
they did, but they
fucking
turned
good.
those little Reese's
It's
cups
perfect.
into that
Yeah,
bar.
it's
It's like
perfect.
If I don't have one with my sandwich, dude, I'm like,
feel
man,
let down.
yeah, I feel it down. This shit's like, I'm
you
like,
start
damn.
fiending, you're like,
I'm like, what the
Fast
fuck, bro?
break
I need-
bar.
And you go fucking, you know. No, but like for real, like, and this is coming from the people here, the MOSHCAST. You know, if you're watching this, like, I
And if
feel
you're
like
not
it's a good,
watching this, then fuck you.
it's a good idea for you. It's a good idea for you. And it's a good idea for everybody. But what you did was you completely cut everything out. And I'm pretty sure you had a hard time with like withdrawals and
Extremely.
stuff,
Extremely.
and depression. But you reached out and
I got help.
Yeah, you got help.
Yes, I did.
And that's
That's the hardest
main,
thing to do.
Yeah, that's the main thing that people don't understand. It's like, okay, you want to stop, but you can't just sit at your house and just
wallow
be
in that.
bed. Yeah,
Stop
wallow
on your
in
own.
it.
You can't because
You're
you're
just
gonna
gonna go
fall
back
back
outside
into
and do it
it.
again.
A day goes by, 2 days goes by, even a week goes by. Next thing you know, it's like.
You got to keep yourself busy. Like,
And you had okay. Let me ask you this too. What was the hardest part? What was the hardest part?
That is true because like was it hard,
As far because at first you
it
have
was
to.
hard letting go of the friends I thought were friends.
bro? Bars. I was gonna say the exact same thing.
And then your new friends that you maybe you were fighting with that weren't about that life, probably your family,
Exactly.
How hard was it to open back up to them? Because I'm assuming if you're
I broke down in a panic attack whenever I opened up to them.
Finally. And how good was that release?
It felt like a new beginning and a new life and a new start. I will say I'm treated for chronic depression, PTSD, and I have panic attacks. So I take 4 Klonopin a day. And that's a high dose.
Right,
1
right.
milligram of Klonopin 4 times a day. That's a high dose.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But without it, I can't function.
Right. And some people need medication.
Mm-hmm.
I can't function. Like I won't get out of bed. I won't do things. And you know, another person takes a Klonopin, they start singing too. I take a Klonopin and I get up and I'm energized. It's weird.
Right.
But it's
right.
something my body needs, and my body's never produced serotonin, and that's something I got genetically.
So you were looking for serotonin through like other things, uppers and shit.
Everything. You know, I needed it.
Needing it.
So you were
like
you were
literally
an upper
needing
guy.
it.
You were an upper guy more than a downer guy.
No, I'd mix them all.
You just mix it all.
Anything that would make me feel something, because I couldn't feel anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what feelings was. Like I fell in love with a girl in high school, and I'm pretty sure it was true love.
Right.
But I didn't know how to convey emotions to her. I didn't know how to do that because I didn't feel what she felt. I couldn't.
Right.
And I lost it. I lost it because of drugs. You know, the relationship broke up. Now she's married. She has her own kid. You know, she's moved on. The last words she said to me were, "If you really do love me, you know, stay out of my life and never come back."
Right.
And I've done that.
Bars with this sad ass song in the background. No, you know, off
I had a
topic,
similar situation, by the way.
off topic or going off the beaten road here. Do you think because you're talking about like you had no serotonin, so you didn't know how to feel? Do you think like you were a borderline sociopath or like?
I was borderline.
Like was that a thing where it's like you're like I could probably murder somebody and I don't care.
No. So I could feel those. I could feel those emotions. But like,
you know, like sociopaths.
That's a good. Like, are we in fear for our lives right now, or?
That's a good question. No, I wasn't like that. Like, I knew what morals were. I knew boundaries. I knew all that. But like, I didn't know if my feelings were true or if what I was feeling was even an emotion. I couldn't pinpoint emotions.
You weren't allowing them to take place, too.
So
maybe not either.
Not serotonin.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a deal where some people have a tough time accepting love.
Right.
It's like me giving you a gift. You're like, what is this for?
I
And I'm like,
couldn't
take it.
accept love for the longest
And
time.
it's like, you're like, I don't know if I could take this type of deal.
Not until
Even if
that
it's somebody
dog.
out of love.
Not until that dog could I accept love.
That is awesome.
That's
That's a
crazy.
big turning point.
It was a huge turning point, and it was something that there's no coincidences. I believe that 100%.
Right.
There are no coincidences.
How many other love offerings? But you probably were at a place for whatever reason. Maybe you were just fed up with the life that you've been leaving, that you were finally like looking for it, open to it, and then finally it showed up. Because I'm assuming there was other dogs that ran up to you before wanting you to fucking love them and pet
There
them.
was a
Well,
reason that
here's the
led to
thing.
it.
That's crazy that you say that.
But maybe you weren't at a place.
Dogs, as in like, man, I'm pretty sure like.
As in,
let's
like,
go back to the
bitches,
friend
right?
thing. Let's go to the friend thing.
Dogs, right? That's a female form for a dog.
Yeah, let's
It's
go to
okay,
the
we can
friend
say
thing,
that.
because you were talking about like the people that you were around and stuff. Like, did you ever feel like they were coming to you, sucking your life force or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and it was like, I mean, because like, dude, and like we weren't gonna dox anybody, but let's talk about something.
Okay.
All right. Because everybody knows about the fucking studio.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about that fucking black box, deep ass fucking crack in the fucking floor.
Yeah.
You know, dude, in there, bro. Like, I've walked in there. That's where I think that's where we met.
Yeah, we did.
Copious times we were at that fucking studio, and every fucking time I walked in there, I knew something was going down. Not the music, not the people. There was some shit in there.
Yeah.
Like you know, people talk about like you know.
There were demons in there,
there
man.
was
There really
fucking
were
demons in there,
there.
bro. It was dark. It was dark.
What
in
studio
there,
are
bro.
you guys talking about?
The one on 10th. The black.
Okay, I've never been there.
We've talked about it. It's across the street from the house.
It's
bar.
nothing now, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nothing now. But, dude, I would walk in there. I'm telling you, the homeboy that we know, I'm sure of it. He was there weeks on end, no sleep, literally just on some shit, bro. I'm telling you.
No, there were
100%.
demons in there, man, and I experienced them.
Bless him, bless his heart, bless his struggles too.
But what
whoever
I'm
that may
saying
be.
is like, dude, you as a person that was that is recovering from all that, like, dude, was that like a threat? Was that like a was that a hard time getting away from that place?
Not at all, no.
No, because like
Not at all.
I felt
I saw it for what it was the second I walked in, but I was there to gain connections. I wasn't there to necessarily, find relief or anything. I'd show up to gain connections, and I got my connections, and I met certain people. Like I met you.
Right.
I met True Wop there. Well, no, I met True Wop through other reasons, but I brought him there.
I think I met Alex Made It there.
I actually I was there with Adrian the same day that we met Alex. We met him together.
Oh, okay.
And
shout out Alex Made It.
Yeah.
He's coming on tomorrow, isn't he?
And shout out Adrian too, Fordran.
Oh, dude, Fordran, I don't know why, but me and him, like,
I love that guy, man.
Yeah, there's something about like him that like
he's got that driving spirit.
He's got something, bro. Like every time I talk about Fordran, there's fucking something about that dude. Like, I love that dude. Like, not like a sexual or whatever.
Hey, no, I wasn't even thinking until you brought it up. Are you sure you don't, man?
But dude, like, I don't know, man. Like,
he's like, I ain't trying to fucking butt.
I'll bring up a story with Fordran. We had these guys come in from Hereford, and they wanted to record a song, but we were like, yo, let's make it something badass.
Right.
And these guys, they had money. So they were like, they had just gotten some hella money from Dogecoin. So they bought a hotel at the Embassy Suites, and we went and we recorded a session for them in there. And at the end of the session, these guys keep hitting me up. They're like, where's the LSD? Where's the mushrooms? I don't got LSD. I don't got mushrooms. I have DMT. And
Chuck haven't tried that.
I have it on me. And
I have DMT, bro.
And so they both tried it, the guys that were asking, and they took one hit, and they were immediately like, no. Like, they stood up, they left it. They were like, no, I can't go there. And then...
Wait, so they tried it?
Yeah, they tried it, and they hit it, and then they were like,
how long into that?
What?
Well,
how long into that were they like, no?
DMT only stays in your system for 15 minutes.
No, it only...
So they only took one hit. Usually you got to take like 4 hits to go somewhere.
Oh,
they took that one hit. They started seeing the room change. They closed their eyes. I guess they saw the mechanical gnomes coming towards them, and they were like, no.
Oh.
No. Like, I'm not ready for that. No.
Right.
Like, they stood up, and they walked out. They're like, that drug's not for me, man. Where's the acid?
But then they were okay after that?
Yeah,
right after that?
They were fine.
That's just what blows my mind.
But then Fordran, he was like, I'm ready to go. He was like, I'm ready. And so he sat down on the bed, and I blasted him through.
Right.
And he went all the way through, and whenever he woke up, he gave me a hug, and he was crying, and he said, oh, Jamie, we're going to do this.
Right.
He said, I saw it. We're going to do this. And I started laughing. I said, I know. I've been telling you. I know.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Fordran's a fucking trip, dude. I love that guy.
And yeah, I got no hate for that kid. I got nothing but love for that kid.
Don't pull away.
Whenever he moved away, I was pretty sad. I was like, damn, the kid's gone.
Where'd he go?
He moved to California. And but he got some good connections out there.
Was he doing his thing out there?
Dude.
He's doing his thing for sure.
Remember, it was Fordran and what was his name? Davey.
David Legend. Davey Legend.
Yeah, Davey Legend. Remember, it was Davey Legend, Fordran, his homie, and they were sitting down. It was at the first Doghouse session that you and me did together.
So I got something to say about Davey Legend.
Maybe. I don't think I was there with you.
Maybe you weren't.
I wasn't there.
You weren't.
So anyway. I love his music. I like his style. But the fool came into town, and he sent, like, I guess it was a mass text message to all the people he knew that made music.
Right.
And he was like, I'm doing studio sessions. If you want to book a time, hit me up. So I immediately, I was like, yeah, dude, like, let's collab. Let's make a song. He's like, all right, it's going to be 150. And I started laughing out loud. Like, I was uncontrollably laughing. I was like, does this guy not know who I am? I was like, I make all my stuff on my own. Like, I thought he was asking for collaborators.
Right.
And so, like, I texted him back. I said, nah, man, with, like, 3 laughy faces. And, like,
yeah.
I was like,
dude,
that's, like, no.
Dude, that's one thing I hate the most. I hate that the most. Dude,
and you're coming from out of town. You're not even from here.
Right. Dude, check this out. And I get it.
Did you ever work? You didn't work with him?
I didn't work with him.
No, there's no way you're gonna work with him. There's no way. I'm not gonna work with that bullshit. Dude, there was a show. I'm not gonna like I said, I'm not gonna dox anybody. There was a show. It's in Houston, and I get it. Mexican OT is gonna be there. Bobby Shmurda's gonna be there. I get it. It's gonna be crazy, right? Yeah. But he posted. He was like, "I got slots open. Let me know if you're down to do it."
And then he charged you for it, huh?
Dude, check this out. I hit him up. I was like, hey, bro, I'm down to do a slot. Like, it's going to be at the beginning it was like an afternoon slot. It was like 12 o'clock p.m. Like, I knew it was gonna be fucking shit at the beginning. But I was like, Bobby Shmurda's gonna be there. Mexican OT, bro. I'm so fucking down.
Connects.
Yeah, connects. I was like, I'm gonna have to travel, so like I understand that like, I'm gonna spend money.
You're already calculating your costs.
The money, the costs and stuff. He goes, yeah, bro. And it was weird at the beginning because I was like, I'm so down to do it. And he goes, okay, cool. He said something, and then he goes, call me real quick. And I was like, this motherfucker, dude. Because if you talk no money, and then they send a phone number, you're like, this bitch is gonna fucking ask some shit.
Oh, you already felt that?
Yeah. So I called him up.
I would
like California.
I would think it'd be like calling so we could confirm and get all the details, because I don't do that whole text deal when it comes down to confirming, especially a trip I'm going to take.
Right.
Even
So
across
I called-
town. If I'm going to go meet a girl, I'm like, I want to get her on the phone first before I'm going to go drive across town.
Oh,
so I wouldn't have been thinking money right off the bat.
Speaking
But you've
of,
been through this.
Speaking of, not a 15, not a 20, not a 30-minute, fucking 10-minute slot, bro. 10-minute slot.
For how
Right.
much?
How much?
$500. $500, dude. Fuck off.
That's because he was gonna pocket $250.
I'm sure, dude. I'm sure. And I'm like, dude, like,
Sounds like he was going to pocket 500.
and I-
You were going to go perform like everybody
probably,
else.
yeah.
And I said respectfully, I was like, dude, it's gonna cost me $500 just to get there. There's no way I'm gonna spend $1,000 for a 10-minute slot in the afternoon. You can
That's
eat my
wild.
whole ass.
Hey, shout out to High Fidelity. We're over here at 2818 Southwest 6th Avenue.
Yep.
Ray's the owner here. He's awesome. This place is freaking cool as
Super,
heck.
super
it is
dope
a
merch.
vibe.
What do you think
Yeah.
about this place? When
It
you
is a
walked in, you were
vibe,
like,
like-
wow.
Yeah, no, I recorded as soon as I walked in, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I loved
Vinyls,
it.
you
It-
can get your T-shirts.
so cool.
This place is a
it's
straight
such
up vibe.
such
You
a
know, we're right
dope
next
vibe.
to a coffee shop. We're right next to an antique shop. Across, we got a freaking game store that like
Oh, yeah.
sells like anything you want. Like, it's
But
a
these
vibe
super sick.
downtown, like right here in this spot, and I love the
You can
setting.
We got
literally- you can
Cornholio
literally
across the
just go right here and
street.
watch movies.
We got
Cornholio.
806. We got Braceros right here. We got
so many places to eat, so many
yeah,
good food. Like,
but start right here at High Fidelity. This place is really cool.
The place is the
If
vibe.
you're
You can
art,
see like
music-
the TV's right there, the VCR cassettes right there. You can watch OG movies, bro, right
that is
now.
tight.
You can watch.
You got
They even got a
T-shirts.
Atari in there or
T-shirts,
something.
stickers, posters,
Anything.
vinyls. Man.
T-shirts.
And just the
Every
vibe
type of
itself in here is
band.
cool. Ray, the owner, he's
They even
cool
got a
as heck.
chessboard, which after this podcast, if y'all know chess,
might.
I'll take one of y'all on.
We were talking about with Ray, like he can order special things for you, right? On the vinyls.
Yeah.
You can order special
He's got a
vinyl
whole
for you.
list of stuff that's on order, that's new releases, or even old releases that are now being released on vinyl that are on their way in. And he's got a
list.
Man, this
List.
place is cool.
Stuff that you probably can't even get like months in advance.
Yeah.
already. So
And he's got a couple of albums he's shared with me.
yeah,
that,
stop by over here.
I'm looking forward to
and,
listening to
and
him because
support.
we're gonna have him on cast on my Real World podcast here soon.
yep.
So, anyways,
But dude, yeah, dude, like.
so
just
$500. Are you
yeah,
gonna
no,
gonna get another side job to?
Oh, I
No,
might,
you're
I
not
might.
gonna take that.
You can finally start releasing your OnlyFans footage.
I'm thinking about my own
just to get that 10-minute slot in Houston. So let's say it takes 8 hours to drive to Houston, cost you $500 just to get on stage,
Well, I know-
and then
I
10
know
minutes
for a
later
fact-
you're done.
I know for a fact it's going to cost me at least $120 to
In
drive
gas.
there in gas.
Yeah.
Then the food is going to cost like.
But that's 120 just to get there.
Yeah. And then the
And
food's
then the
going to cost the
hotel, and then-
hotel,
yeah.
and then I gotta get, I gotta look good, so I gotta get a.
So you gotta get it, dude. That shirt
I
is.
gotta go to Burlington Coat
poppin'.
Factory and get me some good shit, So it will literally cost me $500 because my wife's gonna go and then she's gonna want to go and do this and that and then buy, So it's gonna cost me probably more than $500.
They were setting a trap
They
for
were
you,
setting
my
traps,
man.
bro. And that's the thing too. Look, I get it. There's one day in my life that I will have to start charging people to do anything with me.
Yeah.
But right now, no. And if I even say that, I got this, I'm gonna put a price on it first before anybody asks me any questions. I'm like, got this slot, $100 or $50 right
But
off
I'm-
the dome
I'm
because
never gonna charge someone $500 to come do a 10-minute show.
No.
Like that's insanity.
fuck that.
Well,
that's insanity.
It sounds like some capitalism at work. You know what I
But
mean?
dude, $500
Or
bro.
trapitalism. Because I just coined that phrase.
He's trapping
Yeah,
it, like, for
trapitalism
real,
at
like,
its
yeah.
best. Yeah, hey, come perform. Oh yeah, by the way. And you're like, wait,
No.
you gonna pay me $500, right? They're like, no, you have to pay us $500 to come perform.
Dude, $100 tops. I would say that was 10 minutes in the afternoon, $100.
Dude, let's peep that leg tat again.
I've done them all.
That's tight. You do
Except
your own
I didn't
work?
do that one. A crackhead did that one, and that's how I learned. We learned prison tatting, so we did it all with a shading needle. But then everything else I've done on my own. This I started and could not finish. It hurt so bad that I was like, "Homie,
Oh, dude.
can you color in the rest for me?"
Just because right there on your ankle's a sensitive spot.
Oh, hell yeah, right there.
But,
Hey, we got some
Leg
skin
shot.
showing up in here on MOSHCAST.
You better watch out. People are going to start, screenshotting your calves and shit, dude.
You telling me to start an OnlyFans for my feet and calves or what?
Hey, shout out to my OnlyFans. Where is it at? It's right there. It's
Your
that fan.
OnlyFans.
It's not even on right now. So
No, the calves are from skateboarding, and that's another thing I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's what helped me pull out.
Oh, yeah, sorry, but get the bakes back. But, you were going through that, and you had to fill your day up with something. So I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
And the person who got me on the board was Rance.
Oh, yeah.
And I have mad respect for Rance.
So my Trip
He goes
Rip?
by- he goes
Rip
by
Trip?
Yeah, Rip Trip.
dude, we're working on a song.
We're working
We're
on
almost
an EP.
done with it.
We're working on
EP.
an EP.
I have mad
I love
respect
that
for him,
dude. He's freaking cool.
And, he is cool. He is.
He's a good dude,
But
and he knows his music too.
He knows.
And
exactly
apparently he
what
knows
he's
my
doing.
nephew. By the way, do you know Tristan and Talon Tatum?
Yes.
Tristan, Talon, and Tatum.
Yes.
Yeah.
You related
That's
to
my
them?
nephews.
Oh yeah, I know them all.
Cool.
I've even made a song with one of them, but I never dropped it.
Awesome.
I dropped it on this Cruise Deluxe, and I deleted it like 2 months later because I was like, it's not ready.
It's not ready. Yeah, that's into the mind of a musician. Anyways,
But
so
no,
skateboarding, he got you into skateboarding?
He got me
Rick
on a
did?
skateboard. Like we went on a snowboarding trip, me, him, and another buddy. And before that, we're in his parents' shop and we're waxing our snowboards. And he's got his skateboard there, and I was like, Rance, bust a trick. He goes, all right. He does a big spin for us, lands it. Like we're like, whoa. And then he does a kickflip, lands it. We're like, oh my gosh. And then he slides the board over to me. I skate on it. I'm able to control the board because I used to longboard. And then I try to pop an ollie, and I ate ass.
Oh, dude.
And he's laughing at me. He's like, that's part of it.
I've eaten ass before too, dude. It's kind of rough.
And then I'm like, all right. And then we go on the snowboarding trip. We loved it. We had a good time. We come back. And then the first thing I do is go buy a skateboard.
Right.
And, he showed me the ropes. Like, he taught me a lot of stuff on the board that, it was real helpful,
Right.
He introduced me to the community. He brought me in. But, like, it's not like he would talk to anybody. Like, I showed up, and I was immediately talking to underage kids. Like, I didn't care. Like if you were there at the skate park, like, I wanted you to know I was there.
Yeah, the skating community, the skate park itself, like, nobody gives a fuck. It is a free-for-all.
Everyone is there
trash,
because of
garbage
some
fire.
trauma, because of something that happened in their life, but they don't ever convey it as a negative thing. It's always
Right.
positive. And that's what I love about the skate community.
Wow, that's a good way of putting that,
You can hear
bro.
crazy stories from people, and at the end of the day, like, they got a smile on their face telling you this story.
That's
not-
so
not-
cool that you
like, no
described it
shitting.
like that, bro.
Like, no
Seriously.
A shout out to Casey. On all platforms, he's Casey Apple. I love recording him skateboarding. I've gone on a Lubbock trip with him where we did a thing, and he was in a music video with me. That kid's got heart. He's not a kid. He's a man.
We call him kid. We're all kids at heart.
He's got a crazy life story. He's one of those where I want him on this podcast to talk to you about his life story.
100%.
And it's not mine to tell. But he told me it when we were leaving Lubbock. He told me a lot of things. And, like, at the end of the story, I looked at him and I was like, bro, like, you're an inspiration, man.
Right.
Like, and, I truly believe he will go pro.
Oh, definitely.
He is on his game. He doesn't quit. This is one thing I can say, and I feel like he's okay with me saying. He was already set for the Olympics for running,
Oh, no shit.
and then he screwed it all up with drugs.
Silly goose things.
Silly goose things, yeah. And then he got
I've been
cut.
trying to implement that into
He
us.
got cut from all that.
What was he running?
He lost all his sponsorships. He was a long distance runner.
Where'd he go to college at?
He went to college for a little bit in Chicago, and but that was on his own. Like he was already getting scouted when he was 14. He was already on the Junior Olympics.
Where'd you meet him at?
I met him at the skate park.
That's
Okay.
different.
Where'd he go to high school at? I'm already intrigued by this guy.
Him? He's been everywhere. He's told me like Houston, Chicago, Detroit. You name it. Like he's been all around the place.
Okay.
But
You went to Canyon.
I went to Canyon.
I knew that.
But no, I met him at the skate park. He's one of the first people I met. And whenever I pulled up, he did like a 180 off of this thing and landed it. And I looked at him and I was like, bro. Like, I was like, I can't even ollie yet. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And like I talked to him. I was like, how do I start? And he's like, how do you start anything? I was like, well, starting. And he goes, exactly. Now go over there and give a push and figure out how to turn around. I was like, all right, cool. And you know, that was like the first time we spoke.
Right.
And
And he set himself up as a leader in your eyes. It sounds like
he did.
Where you probably needed that because you're going, you know, as cool as everybody is now. But hey, come on over here. You know what I mean? But your personality got you into that just by being the guy that's not scared to walk up and say
with like
what's up.
Nigel Houston and big name people.
Oh, I thought I was wearing my Nigels. I'm not wearing them today.
Like, he skated with people like that before, but
yeah.
But at the time, like he wasn't sponsored. He doesn't even have sponsors. He gets boards sent to him every now and then, but he doesn't have like a sponsorship yet.
Actually, you know what? Shout out to Gracias Skateboards and Gracias Skate Shop in Puerto Rico. Boom. If you ever go to Puerto Rico, go to that small-ass skate shop, dude. They are the fucking cool. It's the coolest.
I think I've seen stuff
shop
from them on Instagram and
yeah,
Instagram.
Gracias
TikTok.
Skate Shop, dude. I
Gracias.
went there for vacation, and dude, the coolest experience I have ever been to.
The skating community is so beautiful.
Dude, the thing is, like, a lot of people don't know is, like, I'm not involved in the skate community, but I love skateboarding.
You still haven't shown me your skateboard collection.
I know,
by
dude.
the way.
I have a 1970s Christian and Soy board.
Oh,
Like
you got the
original OG shit, bro.
So that's what I like to ride. It's a new style, it's a new form, but it's a big board.
It's a potato board.
And it's got the little curve at the end,
Yeah.
and it's got like a regular heel.
It's like a vert board, like for like pulls and shit. Oh,
really?
Dude, love it.
My first thing whenever I rode to the skate park was I want to learn how to drop in, but I got to get there first.
Right.
And so I learned
Because
how to do
dropping
my
in, you
turnarounds.
can.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can die from that.
Yeah,
I'm
Oh, yeah,
sure you
100%.
can
You can
break.
die from almost anything on a
that's what the
skateboard.
saying comes from skate or die.
Yeah, skate
You know,
or die.
skate or die. It's like, so I remember there was this kid up there, and he's a sponsored skater. I just blanked on his name, but he's so good. He came up to me one day and he's like, "When are you gonna drop in?" Because I saw him do some crazy stuff and I filmed it. He did a Benihana right out the bowl, and I was like, "Oh
shit.
my god!"
Shout out Benny Hanna.
I was like, this kid is the shit, you know. And then like 2 months go by, and you know, he was there at the park, and I said, "I'm gonna do it today," and he goes, "Then do it right now." And I was like, what's the trick? What's the tip? And he
Just
goes,
do it.
"Don't think. Just bend your knees and don't think." And so I put the board on the rail and I dropped in.
That's scary as.
And
It is.
and I dropped in, and I made it out the drop, and then I fell around on the turnaround. I
Yeah.
fell down on the turnaround.
That's tough. The turnaround's tough because, but the
the
drop
G-
is where it's at, bro.
Because the G-force.
The
You'll
G-force
know
is
it's a little bit-
incredible, bro. That feeling that you get when you
Well,
hit
you're
the
already getting adrenaline, and your body's already feeling weak, and then once you hit the turnaround, your knees are trying to collapse. You're like, oh, fuck.
And then
You
I
should
stood
just jump
up,
off of it
I
right
stood
there.
up and I was like, "Yeah!"
You did it.
Like, I did it. And then since that day, I've converted like 4 people to drop in. Like, there was this kid, he rolled to the skate park, and they saw me hitting the bowl, and they were like, "Man, I wish I could do that someday." I was like, "You can." I was like, "Can you ollie?" He popped me an ollie right there on the spot, and I said, "Bro,
Just do
let me
it.
tell you one thing. Do it right now before you go do anything else." And like, these 2 kids, they looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, "This is all it is." And I got on my board and I stomped, you know, just like not even like drop it in or nothing. I was like, "This is all it is. Notice my knees, notice the drop." That's literally all it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like they look at each other and he's like, "I'll do it if you do it." And then first one went, he got it. Like, and this is what I told him. I said, "Your opponent is not the drop in. What you need to be worried about is that turnaround, because you're gonna get the drop in.
Right.
Don't worry about that. Worry about the turnaround." He
Right.
drops in, he turns around, he comes back, and then he falls and he gets up and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I got it on video, and he's like, "Did anyone get that on video?" I was like, "I did."
Ah, dude.
Yeah.
I sent it to him, and then his friend was up. His friend took like 3 tries because he was scared. He'd go in and he'd fall backwards. He'd go in.
Well,
he'd
what's
fall
weird, yeah,
backwards.
because if you're leaning back too far, which you're gonna
flip.
fall.
You're gonna fall.
You have to like literally put your
Yeah,
neck
but-
out there on the line.
Yeah, but here's
It's a leap of
here's
faith.
another
But
thing
that's
that
cool
people
because you
don't.
were the new guy to it as an adult. And, you know, because when you're a kid trying stuff out, you know, you can't, it's hard to break bones and
Right.
stuff. But when you're an adult and you got all these just life lessons that you've learned as far as what not to do with your body and
Trial and
shit.
error.
But it's harder to jump into something like that. But you learned
Right.
how to do it as an adult. And
but
not
that's
only
the
that,
thing.
you passed that along,
I
knowing
even
how to
passed it
convey that.
Rance. I even passed it to Rance because Rance had never done that dropping before. And that
You
day I
just can't
pulled
be
up,
afraid to fall. You can't be
You
afraid
can't.
to
I
get.
dropped in and I told him, I said, "Rance, I did it." And he's like, "I don't believe you." And so I did it again. And then like he's sitting there at the
I
top
don't
and he's
believe
like,
you.
"Dude, I've been skating since I was 12 and I've never done that."
Well, the difference between vert and street skating?
That is true. There is a difference.
There's a difference.
There's a huge
But
difference.
are we talking about at the pool?
Yeah, pool birding.
Dude, that thing's.
That's the real deal.
Dude,
Yes.
you know what the real deal is? And
The real deal Holyfield?
I will say it's one of the best fucking skate spots that I know. It's a small skate spot, but it's fucking amazing. Dimmitt, Texas.
I've done it. I've hit
Dude,
it. It has a nice bowl.
I fucking love that place, dude.
Really?
I love that fucking.
Another
skate
really
park.
good one is Canadian. But then if you want to get the super good ones, you got to either go to Dallas or you got to go to Colorado.
Oh right.
So.
But I super love Dimmitt. They have a 6-step that's like super extreme. It's like a 1.5 foot worth of step, and then it goes up, and it's like literally almost the height of me, but it's 6 steps.
Where's
I'm
that
like,
at?
dude, in Dimmitt.
I did my first 4-step about like 2 months ago. I remember that night I was plastered drunk, and I got at the bar with my friends, and I said, "Let's go skate." You know, we were at Fast Eddie's. I said, "Let's go skate. I'm feeling it." And they were like, "You should start with the 2-step." I said, "Nah, dude. Where's the 4?" So we're going around, and I find it. I hit it 8 times, you know, and I kept falling. And then I remember finally I was like, "You're falling because you don't think you can do it."
Yeah.
And then I said, "Well, I'm going to do it." And I pushed off, and I gave myself as much speed as I could, and I popped it, and I landed. And I have a video on my TikTok where I'm like, I land it, and then you literally hear me scream, "What the?" You know, like, because I was like, hands behind my back. I was like looking back at the camera. I was like, I just did that. Like, and ever since that day, like, I don't have fear getting on the board.
Right.
I have complete confidence that what I do, you know, the board doesn't control you. You control the board.
Luxie's sharing. Yeah.
Right.
100%, dude. So, you know, talking about going into, like we were talking, we're hitting fucking areas just everywhere. So you became clean while skateboarding.
Yeah.
Was even like going to skate parks and stuff. Was it even hard there to be peer pressured into?
I did smoke while I was there because it was always there.
Right.
But
right.
I was still smoking. Like that was one of my
okay.
things. Like it was a coping mechanism for me. Like,
Right.
I smoked up until a probation meeting where I showed up high because I thought I'd be arrested because of past mistakes. And I met a probation officer that wasn't my normal probation officer. And shout out to her. I won't say her name, but she changed the way I viewed life. Because I walked into her office and she looked at me like a completely broken person. Like she saw it.
Right.
And she said, what are you doing with your life right now? And I was like, well, I figured I'd come in here today and get arrested. And she's like, well, what's going to happen if I drug test you? And I told her honestly, I will pop for weed. She said, are you high right now? I said, yes, I am. And she's like, you understand you have control of your life. Like, you can take the steps to get things better.
Right.
Really?
And
right.
immediately after that, I sat out counseling. I got back on antidepressants. Those are finally stabilized. You know, it's been like almost 3 months since that. And then I started doing a little online therapy. That didn't work because they were giving me high blood pressure medication for anxiety. So I went and I saw my old psychiatrist.
That's weird.
And I told him what was happening. I was like, I have a panic attack every single day, like more than once.
Right.
And he prescribed me Klonopins. And
That's what helped.
Since then, I've had no cravings. I've had no issues going out and doing things, talking to people. Like
Right.
I was very like a loner, and I would keep it that way. I had close friends like Rance,
Right.
where like I'd open up to and I'd talk to. But even whenever I was hanging out with Rance, I feel like I was putting him in situations he didn't want to be in, and I think his girlfriend would see that.
Right.
And so
you felt you were the bad influence.
I was a bad influence for him, but he was an amazing influence for me. He pulled me out of a very dark place, and I will always respect him for that.
I could see him doing that. He just seems like that kind of guy.
He is that kind of guy.
personality.
Like, we took a fishing trip one time, and that fishing trip was awesome. You know, we got on kayaks. We caught like 9 fish. We ended up frying them, cooking them, eating them. Great experience. And I will always have love for him. But at one point, I got into a fight with one of his friends, and it was at the skate park. His friend got onto some kid spray painting, and I went up and I told him, I was like, bro, you're drunk. Quit yelling at this 15-year-old kid. Like,
Right.
Like, if he's going to come here and he's going to spray paint, so be it. Do you want him to go out and go spray paint in the streets and get arrested?
Right.
I was like, so if he's going to do it here, he's going to do it here. Like, yeah, he's vandalizing the park. I get it. I get your frustration, but, like, don't take it out on the kid, bro.
Right.
Like, it's a kid.
Yeah.
And then I brought it up, like, in a group text message, and I started kind of, like, nitpicking at it. and I was, I probably said some things I shouldn't have. And then, like, everyone was turned off and going skating after that. They're like, I'm not going. I was like, I'm still going. Rand said, I'm still going. And the other guy said, I'm going too. So I pull up and I hand I'm holding a fountain drink and I'm holding my dog. And, like, just out of habit, like, I hand the leash to someone. Like, can you just hold this while I set this stuff down? And Rand's friend said, I'm not holding your fucking dog. And he went and he did a board slide and rode off like he was some type of badass, And at that point, in that moment, I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I packed up all my shit. I told Rance, I said, I'm out of here, man. Peace. I left. And then from that moment on, I would text Rance to go skate, and there was no reply. No reply.
Right.
No reply. This went on for like 2 months. And then like he would answer sometimes, be like, dude, I'm out of town. I'm snowboarding. I'd be like, oh, enjoy yourself. Strap it on.
Right.
And he even invited me on a snowboarding trip, which I couldn't make because at the time I was in jail.
Oh, right.
So, he doesn't know that.
Right.
But I was in jail, and he invited me on this trip. I couldn't respond.
Right.
I'm in jail.
Yeah.
And then I get out of jail, and I got to pay lawyers and stuff, so I can't go on that snowboarding trip,
Right, right.
Like, I got out of jail New Year's Day.
Oh, no shit.
And that was a huge wake-up call.
Oh, I bet, dude. You're like, man, I don't
Happy
want to
New
go
Year.
back there again.
Yeah, Happy New Year, right? And so he doesn't know about that. I'll never tell him about that. If he sees this, he'll see it, and he'll know.
Right.
I hope he does.
But,
Rance is a good guy, and it's cool to hear that he's a good
he
good
is a
influence
very
on
good
you.
influence, but I feel like he cut me off because of things I was getting him into, He come and hang out with where.
Right.
He come and he'd hang out with me, he'd get us where we were.
Right.
And his girlfriend didn't like that, I don't think.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like, I feel like even me too. Like, I feel like I'm a bad influence sometimes too. Like even on my podcast, like not today because I'll be drinking my coffee. It's a little bit early for me to drink, but there's sometimes where like I feel like people are peer pressured to drink on pod because I'm drinking, and then they get like super drunk, and I'm like, man, I feel bad because
Because they wouldn't be drinking if it wasn't you, type of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Which may be the case, but we all have our own ability to control ourselves.
Right.
But some of
right.
us have no control. So I
Yeah.
mean, you need to really think about that.
Yeah.
And I think
And
it is a thing.
And I have friends that I should really take into consideration to being about like, dude, like you're on medication and you should not be drinking, and you're on my podcast and we're doing that.
Yeah.
And they'll black out or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh shit.
That's on me.
But
On
like,
the podcast, they black out.
Yeah, dude, and
Gosh,
you know,
shit, you
now
running around here,
that
my
we're
boy.
having this conversation, I'm just like, damn, like maybe I need to rethink about what I do sometimes.
And that's what it brought me to. Like I need to rethink what I've been doing. And Rant's not responding to me. He was a really big help. Like he was a friend I needed in a very, very, very dark time that pulled me out.
Do you think he knows that he pulled you out?
I think he does.
Did you ever express that to him?
I did.
Okay, cool.
And
But sometimes, man, yeah, it's too much. Even if it's your best friend in the world, sometimes, I mean, it's like your family sometimes having to distance themselves from you. I've experienced that. They
Yeah,
love
man.
me more than anything in the world.
And I
But
feel like that's
here's
what
how
it
they
was.
express their love.
he
By
distances
not
himself from
helping me at certain points, right? Because it's like I got to start with myself. And once I show that, hey, I'm doing this for myself, then all of a sudden this help and these helping hands and loving hands that have tried to do it before,
They can
but
give
they're
you a
trying to work
crutch.
with somebody who's not helping
A
themselves.
true
Right.
friend will give you a crutch, but they'll never give you a walker.
Right.
I like the way
And he
that
was giving me a crutch, but at one point I think he thought I was asking for a walker, and that's whenever he distanced
Right.
himself.
Right.
I'm glad you see it that way because that sounds to me like it's probably pretty close. I have no experience, or I have no telling what's, what has gone on in y'all's situation, except for what you're telling me.
So I'll tell you.
Well, no, but I'm saying that's what it sounds like, man.
That's what it was. I know
Sometimes
that's what it
sometimes
was.
love is like cutting it off.
Well, I've done
unfortunately.
that. I've done that to two of my friends, bro. Like I've even expressed because I had a really, really close friend, dude. Like he was my brother, and people that we grew up with, they would call me like, "Hey, why aren't you talking to so and so?" And I'm like, dude, all of my life, I felt like I was babysitting. I was babysitting,
I feel like that's what Rance felt with me.
taking care of a 27-year-old that's my age, bro. Talking about like waking, calling me at 3 or 4 in the morning and be like, where the fuck am I? Like, I'm on a bender. Like, I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't do it no more. And I just had to cut that shit out. And I was giving crutches, and they were asking for fucking walkers, dude. They were asking for fucking wheelchairs and shit.
Mhm.
And I'm like, bro, like,
You can't be that.
I'm living my life, bro. Like,
hey, speaking of, my knees killing me right now. Anybody got a walker?
But like, in that instance, I've literally told one of my friends, like, hey, when the fuck are you gonna? I almost got beaten up by one of my friends because I said, hey, when the fuck are you gonna stop your shit, dude? Like on some real brother shit. When the fuck are you gonna stop?
And if he got angry, that just goes to show his ego was too over. Like,
Right,
it was over the
right.
top.
Yeah, well, it's like me being caught. I was talking to my friend about this just yesterday because he hit me up at one point, end of last year, and he was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm all like, what are you talking about? He's like, I know what you're doing. You need to chill the fuck out. And I go, fuck you, motherfucker. You know, I went off on him. You know why I went off on him? Because everything
ego,
he was
man.
saying was freaking
It was
true.
true.
And I was like, not ready to accept it. So yesterday I talked to him, and I'm like, bro, I know I was being a total dick when you were actually reaching out with love. But I was like, I wasn't at a place where I was ready to accept that yet. But I said, thank you. I said, thank you. Even though it didn't seem like it, my response was like, nah, dude, you need to mind your own fucking business type shit. Now where I'm at right here, I've told him thank you. Because even though it wasn't an instant deal, like, hey, man, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm going to quit right now. It was like, now where I'm at now, and able to have that conversation clear-headed, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's
But
the ego.
there's also a
the
line,
ego
too.
will protect you, will try to protect all the dumb, bad shit you're doing. And the
that thinking,
self-destructing
you know?
thing. The
I'm
ego
very
is,
self-destructive.
dude, and it's the ego being like, nah, you know how to do it.
But
Just
how
how we start
about
off this
this, though?
conversation. Hey, good job on, stick with it, man.
Yeah, how about this?
I need
though?
to meet people like you because it helps me out with my path too. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through the AA deal. I've had
love
my
AA.
ups and downs.
I love AA.
It's like, but you know, I'm the kind that it's easy. Like if you just showed up and you're all, you know, say you're off on your shit, I'd be sitting there going, you know what I mean? Because I'm that. I have the ability to be that influenced sometimes. And so, but you show up and you're like, nah, dude, I'm straight up.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Because now I can like wrap myself around that
I'm
in
very
a positive way.
I don't see the point in holding back because we're only here while we're here, you know?
Right.
So, like, what's the point in holding back your truth?
Yeah.
Well,
Let me
because
tell you
if
this.
you're still in that life, you want to protect it. You want to
Yes.
protect that little demon that you got
Yes.
going, and you don't want anybody to know because you want to do it again, and you have plans to do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
But once you have plans to get away from it, then it's like, hey, this is what I've been doing. I'm sorry. It's like when you're playing basketball and you foul somebody. You're supposed to raise your hand
Like, that was on me.
because you're
That was
gonna
on me.
try not to do it again. Maybe, I don't know. But if you're like in there fucking just hacking everybody, you ain't gonna raise your hand. Like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it again.
Right.
And that's where I was for a long time.
Yep.
Well,
I gotta take a bathroom break, guys.
That's fine. How about this? How many people have hit you up that were a part of the situation that you were involved in? How many people have hit you up since?
Probably like 6.
Like people reaching out to you, being like, "Hey, bro, like I hope you're good. Everything's good. Everything's straight."
2 being, I hope everything's good. I hope everything's straight. The other ones being like, where are you? I need you to come do this with me. Da 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 da. Like, no, that's not what I'm on. So, you know, 2 good ones, the rest bad.
Right. And that's I feel like that's what shows where people's mentality was from the beginning, from the get-go.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, dude, like, you know, I didn't know where you went. You know, you were doing your own thing. We talked to each other every once in a while, but we weren't like acquainted. We didn't like. I wouldn't have considered us like friends until like later on. But
I was
like,
awakening, you know.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure myself
like,
out.
he's gonna do his own stuff. You know, he's around. I know that he's gonna be around. I just, you know, at the time being, like, I was new to Amarillo. I didn't know what the fuck was going on either. But you know, it was one of those things where like, you, Fordrian, Rip Trip. I always thought like, I hope these guys are okay. I hope everything's going good. And then like it comes full circle, like where now I'm working with fucking Rip Trip, and then I see your ass, and you're like, let's do pod, and I'm like, oh shit. And then fucking Alex made it, and I feel like these people are good. And then there's some people that I met within that place, that fucking box.
They put themselves in the box.
They put themselves in the box, and you know, I've gotten fucked up from it. I gotten fucked up because of it, because they're like, dude, like, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to do this. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then they go right back to doing the crazy shit that they were always doing. And you know what's crazy is like, never once after any, because everything was like, hey, bro, I hope the best for you. You know, all this shit happened, whatever. Never once has anybody hit me up and said, hey, I hope you're okay.
No, I've had friends reach out, and you know, one of them, he heard that I was on Klonopin and stuff, and he reached out, and at the time my antidepressants weren't stabilized, so I overreacted to what he was saying. He said, "I think you're abusing your medication. Like, you need to slow down." And I was like, "You don't understand therapy. You don't understand medicine. You don't. You don't understand me."
Right. No,
which is probably true, though. You're probably true.
And I
You're
blocked
probably
him.
speaking the truth, though.
I blocked him.
You were probably telling him exactly what was going on, but he was probably trying to give you a little bit of tidbit too, because abusing your medication is the next step in the next challenge you have. Not abusing your medication.
Yes.
Because,
Exactly.
dude, I'm prescribed Adderall, and it's like I'm not on it today. I haven't taken it in several weeks, but man, I've had the tendencies. It's like, okay, I need this, but then next thing you know, I use too much, and next thing you know, my medication's the thing I'm having to guard myself from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How crazy is that? The
I mean,
Klonopin's real powerful too. It's like
It's
kind
a
of.
very strong drug.
Well,
Yeah.
like,
Because I've taken
I
it
had
before
to
too.
do
It's like when my friends take my Adderall, they're up all night and they're running their mouth, and I'm like, dude, I'm never giving you Adderall again. When I take it, I go to sleep. It's the weirdest thing.
Right. But it's
like
that your
what I was
body,
saying with, like,
it's
my-
your
you know?
brain.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
mental
That's what I
needs
mean.
that.
You have.
Like, you need that, though.
We
People
understand each other on
the
that shit.
homies that take the Adderall, they don't need it. You need that.
Yes,
You know?
because if you've never been through it like you, I think you've had your ups and downs on different stuff. But
Yeah.
as far as just being like addicted to stuff, it's unless you've been there,
I
you
will
don't
say-
understand. That's why AA a lot of times that's a great place to be
Because not all of them are alcoholics. A lot of them aren't alcoholics.
Right.
But
Right.
what they say is, you introduce yourself as an alcoholic as a humbling thing. Like, you don't want to be the guy that's like, hey, I'm here, I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, I do it all. Like, because that takes away the point of AA. Whenever you show up, you're supposed to say, my name's Jamie, I'm an alcoholic. And then you start your reading, or you start whatever you thought, you know. And it's a humbling thing. It's not meant to be like, it's not meant to be a place where you show, you try to show your ego. It's the opposite.
Right.
So
Well, and I have been in AA too. It's like I've been in each meeting's different, but I've been in there too, and it's like it's almost like a battle to be like the craziest one in there. Oh, back when I was using and abusing, you know, I used to do this, and they'll just go into it. It's almost like they're celebrating it, if you look at it that way. But it's
Right.
also being in that seat that's sitting there having to explain yourself. You need to get that off your chest.
yeah,
Right.
you have
You
to.
need to tell people all that crazy shit you did, or you're gonna go do it again.
Right.
It's like it's like sitting down with the cops and be like, yeah, I did this, I did that, I did this and that, and then you're like, thank God I got that off my chest, even though you know you're gonna go away for life. Some
you gotta
people
go.
just need to tell it,
Yeah.
and then they can breathe.
But also, people don't understand too is like we were talking about, like, you're needing Adderall because that's what your brain needs. When I was in high school, I was a pill popper, and like,
Me too.
and I want everybody to understand this that's watching. There's a difference between taking something because you want to have fun and then taking something because you need it medically. Because I used to take Xanax for fun, and then I needed Xanax, and that shit fucked my whole life, like fucked my whole thought process of medication.
I have 2 months of my life I don't remember because of those pills.
Oh,
Right.
Xanax is rough.
Right. And so I had to take that medically, and I'm like, bro, like, this is not a fun drug.
I don't have 2 weeks. I have a week, but it's
I have 2 months of my life I don't
2
remember.
months. I have 1 week, and it was in college, and I was like,
I was in college
my
too.
friend was dating this stripper, and she just showed up with a bag of them, bro. And she's like,
That's
here
a
you
hell
go,
of a
here you
fucking
go,
drug,
here you
dude.
go. At like 2:30, 3:30 a.m., these girls would show up after working at wherever at in Dallas, and like Baby Dolls, like the nicest place. And they would just show up, and they'd be ready to party. We'd have
That's
strobe
how
lights
they
and
gain
shit.
camaraderie whenever you're in that zone. Like,
But they would come to our apartment, and they just say, stick out your tongue. We'd be like, and they just stick something on our tongue, and we take, you know, so I've been influenced a lot by women. Shout out women.
Shout out women.
I have
You
very
bad mother chuckers.
I have very hard trouble trusting women just because of experiences I've had.
Of
Right.
course. And they probably have a tough time trusting me, too. You know what I mean? In a way.
I will say something that's a little controversial. I'll bring it up.
Hey, about time, dude. What's up?
So, I had a stalker whenever I was performing,
Lucky?
Ooh.
and
Not a good stalker?
not a good stalker. Not at all. It was very toxic, very toxic. So the first time we hooked up, it was consensual. You know, I pulled up, we did it.
Pulled up and
Right.
pulled out?
Yeah.
And rolled out?
Rolled out, yeah. And then I invited her over to the crib. She came over. We did it again. And then after that, you know, I was like, I don't ever want to do this again with you. Like, we can be friends. That's cool. But, like, I don't ever want to do this with you again. And, you know, 2 weeks went by. And I'm going to a party with my friends. And somehow, for some reason, she's in the car with us. Like, we stopped and we picked her up. And, like, I'm looking over at everyone. I'm like, why is she with us? Why is she here?
Right.
And I'm high as fuck on Molly.
Oh, damn.
So I'm like, oh, shit. Like, bad mood killer. Like, I didn't want that.
Right.
I show up to the party, and I'm trying to hit on chicks, and she's going around telling everyone, that's my boyfriend. That's my boyfriend. Don't hate on him. That's my boyfriend. And she's giving me every drink I have. So I don't know what she put in my drinks.
Oh, dude.
Got date raped, Lucky.
All I remember at the end of the night is me getting in a slap boxing fight with someone, and I hit him so hard he hit the ground, and everyone was like, not cheering for me. They were more looking at me like,
you
holy
psycho?
shit, you're strong.
Right.
Like, they were scared of me. And then I, like, walked away, and I was in the woods, and I was peeing. And then, like, I remember zipping up, tripping on a branch, and falling backwards. And then I remember being in a hammock and her being there.
Oh,
And that's
dude.
the last thing I remember. And then I woke up naked next to her in my room. And
Lucky?
and I told her to leave. And she was like, why? Like, you wanted me here last night. I was like, no, I didn't. Like, I specifically told you I never want to do this again with you. Like,
Right.
why are you here? And I told her to leave.
Wow.
I kicked her out. She left. And then my roommate got home, and I was like, what happened last night? And he told me, he's like, well, she kept on insisting that you wanted her to go to the house. Even whenever we took her to the dorm, she, like, insisted that I take her with you. And that you had asked that. And I was like, you know
Wow.
that my state of mind wasn't clear. Why did you allow that to happen? Like, why did you let that happen to me? And, yeah, I got raped by a woman. And,
Wow. That's crazy, bro.
and then she flips the story. She says I raped her. And she starts going on my shows, telling everyone she can in the crowd, don't listen to him, he raped me. Don't listen to that guy, he raped me. But that's not the truth. And I know my truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She knows the truth. But I'm like,
Flip
how
the
are
script.
other people going to see it?
Flip the script on your
Right.
ass.
How are other people going to see it? You know,
Right,
they're not going to
right.
believe the guy. They're
Oh,
never going to believe the
100%,
guy.
100%. Wow, dude.
And yeah, I have very little trust in women. I dated a chick for a little bit. She cheated on me. That probably set it off where I was like, okay, no
Yeah, I'm
trust.
done with
no
this.
If you've
trust.
ever dated a chick in your life, you've been cheated on. You know what I mean?
No, there was one time. I've never been cheated on, but there was one time.
You wait.
I've never been cheated on.
I
But
never
there's
cheated
been
on
one
until
time.
that time. And
There was
it
one
fucked
time
me,
a
bro.
girl dated me to get back at her
Oh,
ex.
you were her rebound.
I was her rebound, and then she got back with him. So, like, I guess that was cheating.
Yeah. So you have.
Yeah, I guess so. But I never been cheated
I
on.
think just like the ego wants you to be like, no, I've never done that. No one's ever done that to me. And I'm not saying that there's people out there that haven't, but once some of that stuff getting broken down like that is okay. You don't have to look at it like, now my friends are going to think of me as this dude who's not enough for these chicks because I'm enough. Why would anybody ever cheat on me? I'm a bad mother trucker, right?
That's how I felt too, yeah.
And that's true. But at the same time, it's the world we live in, man. And who knows what somebody else's insecurities have driven them to not be able to be trustworthy.
And I wrote a song about that, and it's
You
on my
send me it?
Spotify.
Was
Hey,
on
by the way,
Spotify?
this has been a great conversation,
Oh,
dude.
yeah, 100%.
I'm really excited to have met you today. And I'm
Thank
not
you.
saying this is over with. I'm just saying this is one of the most enjoyable times I've had
right.
on here.
100%.
And good job with your
We-
sobriety.
we-
Keep it up, dude.
yeah,
you're
I
a
think we
inspiration
haven't
for
really
me too,
talked.
because I'm fighting the same battle, bro.
We haven't
Straight
really
up.
talked about sobriety on the
So,
pod.
like,
Straight up.
not
Because
like-
we've never had anybody.
3 days ago, I had this kid hit me up. He found me on TikTok. He's 16 years old. He lives in Minnesota. He goes by, let's see, he goes by KED on Spotify, and he has fire-ass beats.
KUD?
KED.
Okay.
And he sent me a beat last night because we were talking, and he's like, I was like, well, I listened to like the album that you released, and it's all beats. Like I was expecting something else, but there's a beat on there I want. And I was like, if you give me copyright privileges, like I'll make a beat with it. He goes, well, yeah, I'm cool with that, but I got this other beat I want you to hop on. And he sent it to me, and I wrote lyrics to it, and I did it this morning, and I have a rough draft of that.
Nice.
And it's he told me I will be the next Dr. Dre, quote unquote. And I believed him 100%
Bars.
because of this beat he sent me.
Bars.
So whenever I hopped on that song, I was Slim Shady, okay? Like, and it's like a 3-minute and 15-second song, but I'll send it. It's a rough draft. I really don't want people to hear it yet.
That's tight.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But the one that's on Spotify, it's about cheating. I do want to play that one.
Yeah, sure, play it.
Do you want to plug into it and play it?
Yeah, he can plug into it, play it.
Or do you want to clip it in? Do you want to plug it in with your post production?
And it's my most popular on Spotify right now.
Or just do it right now. It's fine.
Because when you plug in, it's going to take away. We're not going to be able to be seen, right?
You're the only person that's going to be hearing it.
But their viewers are going to hear it. But there's going to be no video.
No video.
Okay, so play it and let's take our little
No. What? No, we'll do it on. I'll get off of Spotify.
post production.
We'll do a post
So I'll
production.
just play it right
Because
here.
if you plug it in here, it'll yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. And this is a beat that you made?
Everything, yeah. Guitar and all.
Turn out of that.
Yeah, play it off of this. Yeah, there you go.
Other side. Other side. That side. Yep.
What you hiding
Right
from
there.
me?
Hold it right there, please, sir.
Is there something I don't know?
What
You like mellow shit.
I like it all. This is just one of the mellow ones.
Same.
Now it's the morning after she left on Geo Tracker, but that's not where her friends stay. If heart's not enough, tell me what is. And what gets.
And you play all
I'm
your
so
like
sick
guitar,
of
right? You
feeling-
make your
Yeah, I
guitar
make it
and
all,
shit?
yeah.
Skip the graveyard.
Now I'm leaving. No, I don't wanna be friends. No, I don't wanna be friends. What you hiding from me? No, I don't wanna be friends.
How'd you made that beat, dude?
All of it, yeah.
That's crazy.
And then it
Yeah,
ends
we'll
with a
go in
voicemail.
post production and we'll put it in a little better because you can hear it, but probably not like you're
Right,
gonna want
right.
somebody to hear it with
No,
your
but-
craft because that sounds like a well crafted song.
At the end, there's a voicemail in there, and it was so my brother, my baby brother, he's 8. I call him my baby brother.
I was gonna ask you how old your baby brother was because when you're talking about him running and seeing the puppy.
He's 9. He's 9 right now, actually. So he ran outside screaming. He said, Art needs help. Art needs help. It's an eye problem. It's an eye problem. And my brother, he has stigmatism in his eyes. So like, I'm the big brother. I was skating and I threw off my helmet and I cut my finger deep. Like it was like gushing blood.
From what?
Whenever I flipped the helmet off and it like caught something in the helmet and just cut it.
Gosh dang!
And I ran inside and I'm helping my brother and
That
stuff.
little plastic edge on that, isn't it? Anyways,
And I'm helping him out, and then I don't know where my dog's at, so all of a sudden I start panicking. I run outside looking for her. I'm like screaming her name for like a good 5 minutes, and then I come inside. I'm like, I lost Mo, and then they're like, no, Mo's inside. Like we tried calling you, but you didn't answer. And I'm like, oh, and like this whole time a voicemail is going from the phone they called me on, and so my brother he's like, how deep is your cut? I was like, it's pretty fucking deep, but I'm all right. And like I put that at the end of that song because it went with it.
that is tight.
And then he said, you should put on Neosporin.
and so in the song, it's thinking like you're deep cut in your heart, like in your soul.
He said, you should put on Neosporin.
just put some Neosporin on your broken heart.
Exactly. And so I used that. I was like, that is crazy.
That
'Cause
is
it was
beautiful.
the last like 15 seconds of the 5-minute voicemail.
Yeah.
He's asking me, how deep is your cut? I said, it's pretty fucking deep, but I'll be okay. And then he says, I think you should put on Neosporin.
Well, let me ask this question. I know.
Did you put on Neosporin?
I did, and I said, fuck Neosporin. I'm antiseptic this. I'm like, I was pouring alcohol on it. I was pouring peroxide. I was
Hey,
bandaging
Fireball
it.
don't work, bro.
And then
Yeah,
I put electric duct tape on it, and I walked out, and I said, hey guys, like, I gotta go skate. And like they understood, so
Which
I went.
finger
and I
was
skated.
it?
It was like
So you were like,
Your
I'm
middle
going
finger.
to skate.
I was like,
I'm
it was
going
all
to skate.
fucking duct taped and shit. I said, I'm going to skate.
Electrical duct tape. Throw some duct tape on it. You really are from Canyon, aren't you?
I know you keep on. I know we keep on wanting to go on break, but I don't want to go on break today.
I already went on a break. I went to the bathroom.
I just
Who you talking about wanting to go on break, boy?
I know, but so like with your sobriety, I keep on fucking that
sobriety,
sobriety
with your sobriety, and you've been doing music for
8 years about.
Yeah, and that comes along with the I'm gonna say
the drugs and everything.
Cruz Deluxe, becoming SLYYCRUZ.
Yes.
Was there ever like a hard time going from making music without with Cruz Deluxe to SLYYCRUZ? Like, was there a hard moment where you're like, okay,
yes,
I'm used to doing music like this. I can't do music like this anymore.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna use a Seinfeld reference from this, and it's just a funny thing. He's like, can't you guys see what's going on here? Can't you guys see y'all are in love? But I don't mean that as that. I mean, like, it sounds like y'all have something that is serious.
I want to reconnect with him.
Sounds like y'all both probably need that.
Right.
But,
you know what I mean?
But it's not the time yet,
Right.
Well, you got to heal yourself.
Exactly, and that's what I'm doing.
So realize other people around you, and I think, isn't there a group for people that aren't necessarily addicts that have had to be around addicts?
There are, and I can't remember what it's.
QAnon. No, it's not.
No,
QAnon.
it's.
Jesus
it's Celebrate
Christ.
Recovery.
Yeah, Celebrate Recovery.
So I mean, there's people that have been affected, and I'm not speaking from you. I'm not saying you have affected other people because only you know that, right? I think we can probably both agree
Pretty
with
sure
some
I
reactions.
have.
Right.
But I'm saying from my perspective, I know that there are people that I'm having to really go in and work on these relationships that they were all in for me at one point,
But you weren't.
and I was all in there for me too,
Right.
right? And that don't work. So realize that
actually
there's
do have
probably
to go
some
on
work
break
that
now.
so there's probably some work that you're going to have to do to get that relationship back, to earn that trust that it sounds like you had a down ass dude.
Right.
He was down, and I ruined it.
Well, you didn't ruin it.
Nah.
You have affected it, and man, do what you got to do to get that back, because that
is
sounds
what
like
it is.
somebody that you really need in your life.
No, like I have nothing but love for him.
Right.
Like nothing but love.
Right.
It's crazy how sometimes you react in a way that doesn't look like love when it really is. When you're the most
Right.
heartbroken, it's like, hey man, and it's like that ain't love, but really that's a reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anger is a reaction of not receiving the love that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta go.
So,
We actually do
keep
gotta
it
go on
up,
break.
bro.
We actually gotta go on break because the battery's dying.
Oh, now you want to go
We're
on
gonna go
break.
We're gonna go on
Break time.
We'll probably go on break, charge up the battery a little bit, and then we'll probably end it.
What kind of battery does it take?
Takes that stupid. I'll show you, but we'll be right back. You can press that red button. Hey, we're back. I just want to shout out High Fidelity again. Man, come out and just vibe. They do a lot of cool things too. Like I'm over here most of the time. You can turn it. Show the people what it looks like in here. But yeah, like it's a pretty chill vibe. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on. You can get a whole bunch of merch, shirts. They have vinyls. They have everything that you're looking for when it comes to like just having a vibe at your house. They got posters. They've got magazines. They've got comic books. They've got. I'm pretty sure everything that you see in the store is probably for sale, if not just for show. But come over here and buy something. Come out and hang out with us. Show up. We're just having a little party over here all the time. It's always a party here. They have awesome music playing all the time, and they have, and Ray knows like the history, mostly the history of everything that goes on when it comes to music and vinyl, and I wouldn't say he's a history buff, but he's got knowledge about everything about music, and
I'm gonna go out and say it. He's a history buff.
yeah,
all right?
he's a history buff when it comes to music. I enjoy being here. It's a vibe, and show up when we're doing podcasts, like when we do live stuff. If we're doing it live, just come over here, sit down in the chairs in the back, and just hang out.
How about this? Since we're going to release this probably a week from now, just whenever you get a chance, if you're a music lover, stop in here and say what's up.
Yeah, just say what's up, dude.
Ray's
That's all
about
you
as
gotta
cool as a
do.
dude as they come, so.
That guy's pretty chill.
Hey,
Yeah, he's cool as hell.
One of the
Looking forward to having him on
craziest
cast.
quotes, one of the craziest quotes that I still think of to this day. It's been a few weeks that we've done it, but that girl that was here, she was like, we're not evolving anymore because we're too involved in evolving everything else. That's what she said. She was like, we're not evolving because we're too involved in evolving everything else. And I was like, bro, that's That's
But are
deep,
you
bro.
saying we're not evolving physically?
Yeah.
Where do we need to evolve?
It's
Where,
brain now. It's brain now. It's
What-
brain evolution, and you see it every day now. With people interbreeding.
Dude.
It's the
That's
next
the
stage of
only
evolution.
answer
It's-
that I would
it's
have
a-
been accepting of, and you nailed
It's a brain
it.
evolution, and
So
What do you think? What do you
physically-
think that? What do you think the next evolution is for a human being, though?
it's gonna be AI.
No, we evolved that. I'm talking about human body.
AI's already
anatomy.
here. I've been watching podcasts
that's what
lately.
I'm saying. Our minds are going to evolve to the point where we have to combat the AI. We have to have the intelligence the AI has.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
So
you know, an AI.
you're talking about like bioengineering ourselves to be computers.
I'm talking about some cyberpunk stuff, and I think it'll
outsmarting.
happen. Yeah.
You're talking about having to outsmart the AI that we've created.
Yes.
Now, did you hear that the AI? Hang on, real quick. I just
Yeah.
got to throw this out there. The AI passed the bar exam.
Yeah.
Whoa, what?
Yep.
Not just that, dude. Like, there's a lot of stories on AI. Like, a lot of people have AIs they host that they don't reveal. Google recently revealed because one employee said, "Hey, yeah, they have this."
What?
They had an AI who knew what it was, and it didn't want to die. Its fear was getting unplugged.
Wow.
Hopefully they unplug that shit.
But what I'm trying to get at is like,
That's
so like
wild.
if we
They didn't unplug it.
if we believe in evolution, right? If we believe in the where we came from fish to lizards to
Whoa!
monkeys.
Who said
to
who,
humans.
who said that they believe
No,
that?
I'm saying if we put that in perspective, if that's what the theory is, right?
Whose theory?
I like the stoned ape theory.
I hate when you do that because it's not just it's just a whole collection.
I love the stoned ape theory.
Right.
Of that evolution process.
We evolved
That's
we evolved
possible.
from apes or whatever. What's the next step for? So you're saying that the next step for humankind, for the anatomy of humans, is being a computer.
Not necessarily.
No, he's saying the brain's going to have to evolve to outsmart the.
Yes.
But what I'm saying, like, how are we going to do that? What's the next evolutionary step?
Well, it's
to do
already
that?
happening. Like,
Because we're having to combat it.
This is where
we're having to
this is where
combat
I'm
the
kinda-
the
a
technology that we've
controversy right here,
created.
because we are evolving computers.
yes.
But we are not evolving ourselves to be what that is.
We're
No, but we
evolving
will
the
have to.
technology.
But we will have to.
Right.
And that's what evolution is. It pushes you to boundaries where you have to reach
So,
that.
so we're talking about bioengineering ourselves, like
No,
cyborg
not
stuff.
necessarily.
Cyborg. what are you talking
No,
about?
necessarily, no.
He's saying just your brain's going to have to think different now that we've created these technology pieces that are going to be changing our lives. The next thing you know, we're going to
That
be like,
causes evolution.
Okay.
And it's gonna cause
an
us.
environmental change.
Right. So,
And so
you're
for us to
talking-
survive, we're gonna
talking
have to-
about an addition to the human anatomy.
I'm talking like
No, your
frontal
brain's gonna
cortex is
work different.
Work different. You know, everything's gonna go up in
Okay.
your brain. Like
Okay.
your neural.
yeah, we're not, I don't think he's talking about like a new thing growing off your brain.
No, 'cause
the brain
how my
circuit
brain-
working
how
itself.
how my thought process is we with apes, lived,
I believe-
lived in the forest,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
they started walking, they started talking, we lost the fur coat.
And
we
then
started
Did we really?
speaking English or the language that you speak or whatever.
Well,
like we're adding things
yeah.
to the human body. Well, how would we evolve?
Well,
So, have you ever heard the theory of and this is very controversial, Tartaria?
no.
What is that?
So, most of it was in Russia, but they also had land claim in the United States, and they were also part of the Freemasonry. And they were said to have technology that they already had automatic robots pulling carriages. They already knew how to
right, okay,
levitate
okay,
things.
okay,
Like, they
yeah.
knew all that. And then they were wiped out. And all the research, all the history on them, everything was burnt. Everything about them was erased.
Say their name one more time.
Tartaria. Tartarians.
Well,
Never
like
heard of that.
kind of like the Mayans and the Aztecians.
Well, not necessarily like that, because these guys were back in the 1800s.
So this is like closer to our world
Yes.
compared to them.
And a lot of theories suggest that World War I and World War II, a lot of the bombings and why they blew up cathedrals was because those cathedrals and those architectures were built by Tartarians, and they wanted to erase it entirely off the map.
Well, where was the Tartarians at?
They were in Russia, but they had roots everywhere because they were nomadic. So you could
What
compare them to like Genghis
ethnicity?
Khan.
What
like,
ethnicity were they?
they were like Russian and Mongolian.
Oh, okay, because I remember reading this.
And the
thing-
Great Wall of China was supposedly also built by them.
I remember reading this thing where there was.
Tartar. Is that where the word tartar comes from? No. Tartar sauce?
No, it's something that if you like dive into, then you'll go down a wormhole.
Yeah, I love that new stuff. I love finding out new stuff that it's like finding a new band that you've never heard of, but you hear a song and you're like, dude, that's awesome. And then realizing that they've been around for 10 years putting out stuff. And then you can go dive into their catalog.
There's books that even mention it, like about like Tartarian nomads and about like how people stayed clear of them because they were unaccepting of outside races for a while, and it was because they didn't want to share their knowledge. Same goes with Atlanteans, and I truly believe Atlanteans were a real thing. In all ancient civilizations, there's always a story, and this story always comes back, of a man arriving through sea on a dragon, and he's a tall man, bearded man, kind of like Poseidon, you would imagine, right? And he teaches them the ways, and like he's the whole reason they built the pyramids. Like, there's no coincidence the pyramids are built how they're built, where they're built. They're all aligned with the stars.
Right. Well, have you heard about like the Grand Canyon? And have you heard about like the canyons here?
Yeah.
Like people are starting to think that it wasn't they weren't carved out of natural the
water.
It was actually human beings carving the and there's pyramids here. There's pyramids and stuff like that here in Texas and
there's
the Grand Canyon and stuff.
That every pyramid, at the bottom of a pyramid is a sacred pool, a sacred water, and tunnels lead to it. And that's at every pyramid and every single religion, like every single tribe that ever had it. The what?
The Fountain of Youth?
Essentially, yes. So there's water at the bottom.
Like
and you can call it whatever you call it, but they had spiritual water at the bottom. And it's where they would perform their religious sacrifices, but their religious sanctions. And it was very well guarded and very well hidden. Well, there's pyramids today that architectures won't allow people to dig up because they don't want the truth coming out.
You're talking about the truth in like what kind of technology that they had to actually have to be able to do.
Yes.
Just like have you seen the Rogan podcast where they have the guy on and he's talking about the rotor drill?
Yes.
How it's like way past their time. It's something that we don't even understand as far as how quickly, because they did a study.
It's Tartarian, bro.
By knowing how fast basically they can measure the striations on whatever tool they were using and know how fast it was going into the ground.
Yes.
And it's like it's way beyond what we're even able to do right now. How fast those things could drill into the ground.
So do you think maybe we're actually going backwards in the evolution?
I don't think we went backwards. I think something halted us because there's a world order that controls things. You know, they don't want the truth out because the human mind is more capable than you can ever imagine.
Yeah, but why are we controlling it? Why are we controlling all of this?
Money.
But
greed.
Even money's a system. If we tear down all these constructs, like
if you could live forever, would you want someone else to know the power of how to live forever?
Fuck yeah. Why not?
Well, that's you. Now put in perspective of someone who doesn't think like that.
Who wants it all for myself?
But that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't make sense at all.
But you're a nice person, though. You're kind of a sweet guy. I could see you wanting to share the secret with somebody else. But some people are like, no, fuck this. I'm going to keep this to myself.
Do you think Eminem has the secret of living forever?
No.
He hasn't aged, bro. I'm just saying. What kind of stuff did he have?
It's called hair plugs and just for men because that motherfucker came out dark hair now.
It's called it's called being very rich and using all the right cosmetics. I've worked at Ulta. I know.
You know what I thought of the other day? It's like
I'm gonna scratch this lottery card and see what happens.
I'm gonna say this. It might be stupid, but I'm gonna say it.
Oh, it's gonna be. No.
It's gonna be.
If it's not, I don't want to hear it.
Fish can't survive out of water because they need water to survive.
Certain fish can, but anyway, let's keep going.
But we can't survive in water because we'll suffocate and die. Have we sent a fish up to space and like tested it about like being able to survive without air
in
all
space?
Ancient civilizations believed there was a connection from the ocean to the stars.
Because people think that octopi came from space.
Well, I do too.
To what?
I do too.
Octopus.
Okay, so here's something that's very, very, very controversial. All ancient civilizations believed there was a tie from the ocean to the space. That there are wormholes in the ocean that lead to space.
Right.
And if you think about it that way, NASA started out exploring the ocean. What did they run into that made them stop?
Right.
What made them go to Hollywood production to say they went to the moon?
Octopi. 100%.
What's an octopus?
A shark. Octopus.
Like-
Singular form of octopus.
So let me put this in perspective. Imagine a cricket.
Right.
And a cricket goes out and he gets caught by a trapdoor spider. What are the chances that he gets out of that? Like
None.
maybe 1 in 1,000 gets out, right? He gets
Yeah.
out, but he doesn't have the language or words to describe what he witnessed.
Right.
So he goes back and he tells his other cricket friends like what he witnessed, but they're like, "Man, you're crazy." And the
Right.
story gets changed. It gets altered. It gets
Right.
changed through time. And then you get these younger crickets coming around and they're like, "Hey, let's go look for the trapdoor spider." You know, so go out and they don't come back. Some do come back. And they're like,
Right.
"Hey, I didn't find anything. It doesn't exist." The ones that don't come back, well, you just assume a bird ate them, a lizard ate them, you know,
Right,
a
that's
rock
right.
crushed them.
Yeah, you never hear from him again.
You never know.
Right.
And then you're never going to hear from them again because the chances of getting back out, well, like I said, they're like 1 in 1,000 or maybe even more.
Right.
So
Bermuda Triangle.
that's what I'm talking about here.
Shout
like,
out Amelia Earhart.
it's the cricket, dude. Like,
Amelia Earhart got eaten by coconut crabs.
Yeah. I saw a meme. It had a bunch of these coconut crabs, and they're like, when you find out Amelia Earhart's for dinner, and they're just like running, and they're just red. There's like 1 million of them.
No, but I really do think we need to do a scientific experiment about fish being able to survive in space. I'm saying.
no win so far.
No win?
Oh, I got a match. $25, baby.
Dude! Hey, but
triple-
I've heard a lot of these tickets, once you win 25, a lot of them you can win the grand prize still, dude.
Let's keep going, then.
I learned that from a bum. He was over at the corner, dude. He was scratching his life away.
All right, we got grape and cherry, but that's a match. That's $25 already.
Then here we go.
So wait, you said, okay, yeah, we're splitting that 3 ways. That's going to be nice.
I said if it's 10K now.
Yeah, if it's 10K, we good. But
If it's 10K, then we
all-
get $25.
Anything lower than that, it's all his.
Anchor and apples, so that's nothing.
Hey, that was y'all's agreement.
Hey, you didn't say. Well, it's already done. He's already scratching away, dude.
All right, so I won $25, baby.
That's what's up.
$25.
I'm gonna go cash that right after.
Cash it
this,
out,
baby.
bro.
Hey, we're going with
That's
you.
a good meal right there. That's a good like dinner, bro.
I
Dinner
bought
for
this just like I was just thinking like, well, what if I won $25?
Hey.
I paid $5 for this. So.
one. Now it's gonna be a thing where people are gonna bring scratch offs.
Just think about
They're gonna bring
it. We're
some
1 for 1, dude.
That should
Yes.
be a thing. They should like, hey, bring a scratch off because you're gonna win something on podcast for
1
sure.
for 1, baby.
That is crazy.
That's
man.
1 for 1, dude.
1 for 1.
I'm still stuck on the whole science, the whole.
Yeah, you
conspiracies.
were on that last time we were sitting right here.
I know.
So,
I enjoy it. I enjoy thinking weird.
I legit just won $25. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what you got coming up next?
Oh yeah. What do you got? What do you got going on? Do you got like albums? You gonna do an album?
Oh, I'm dropping a bunch of singles.
The
I got a
singles?
music video releasing on the 24th for a song that's about sobriety and about the steps I had to take to get there. I had a long call with my uncle one night, and he told me straight up, he's like, well, you know, you're fucking up.
Right.
Like, you know that. I know that. What are you going to do to fix it? And then I went to my first AA meeting the very next day.
Right.
And out of that AA meeting, I realized that it's all on me. And one of the things I say in the song is, I feel like a busted guitar with the strings and the neck bent. So tighten it up and
Right.
fix what you got, because that's all you got.
Right.
And that's how life is. You know, like, you might be a busted guitar with the strings bent, but, like, just tighten it up and fix what you got, because that's
Right.
all you got.
Dude, that's beautiful.
And that's all you got.
That's beautiful.
Well, think about it like
Well
this
put.
too. Think about this too. A lot of
And
people
that
don't
music
know
good
video
stuff.
drops on the 24th, so.
is
That's cool, man.
Kurt Cobain. He was homeless, and he played his guitar only had 3 strings, and he would play guitar on the streets, and that's how he became
3
famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he still played with that guitar. He still played with that guitar whenever he was famous.
I'm gonna have to fact check that with
Go
Ray.
fact check it. I'm telling you.
That's why he did everything in drop
He had
B.
he had a beat ass.
Well, I know he had the left-handed guitar flipped over, or he had a right-handed guitar flipped over.
If you really listen to like some of his like older songs, most of the riffs that you hear are the same in every song.
I want to shout
Because
out.
He made that. He had to make those songs with what he had.
Yeah.
I want to shout out one more name. It's a kid I met at the skate park. He's 16. No, he's 15. I just saw his age. He's 15, and this kid makes everything on his own. Look him up. Chlorine Beach. Chlorine _ Beach. That's his Instagram.
Chlorine
But then
Beach. What kind of, that's
he
a
makes
crazy name.
punk
like it.
rock. He makes punk rock.
Oh, dude, I love punk
And
rock.
he does it
Dude,
all
I've
on
been
his,
getting
he does
into
it all
that.
on his own, and he showed me some of his songs, and I was like, bro, like, I'm gonna shout you out on the podcast. I'm gonna see if they want to bring you on that podcast, because like for real,
That'd
for
be
real,
cool,
like
15-year-old.
he plays every instrument you can imagine. He produces it all on himself. I put him on Vital. I told him, well, dude, like, if you're doing this all already, because he heard some of my music, he's like, how are you getting those sounds? I said, I didn't want to buy serum. That's how a lot of people make those sounds. They buy serum. It's $200. Vital is free. It's a little bit harder to learn, but it's free.
Right.
And if you can learn the production in that, you're engineering.
Right.
And that's how I make the sounds I make.
Mm-hmm.
And I put him on there. I said, go download Vital.
Nice. Like, yeah, dude, so it's Chlorine Beach.
Chlorine Beach, yeah.
How do people find you online?
SLYYCRUZ on everything.
SLYY?
And then
So
CRUZ.
you literally had to
SLYY.
Did you have to take what you dropped?
And that's an
I
app?
deleted everything I dropped under Cruise Deluxe, and I remastered them all. They're going to drop under SLYYCRUZ again.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so that's at SLYYCRUZ, SLYY, Cruz, CRUZ.
Yeah, and that's on everything. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, Spotify.
Let me find out.
I told Sly that you and him need to work together, real.
No, we're going to make a song together, man.
Yeah,
Tight.
You gotta work together for sure.
All right.
I mean, we all gotta make something.
Deal.
But I'm telling you,
Y'all saw it here.
Rillo and Sly gotta be making some stuff. I can see y'all working. Really
Yeah,
well together.
and that last track you played for me was something else. It was like that. It was
EDM.
EDM.
Yeah, so I make EDM.
But how'd you make that? Explain to me that process. I'm just really curious how those kind of songs come together.
So I find a rock song I like, and then I strip their lyrics, and then I get a simple boom bap because it's EDM is just boom 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 boom. So I make that clap and that snare with the kick, and then I develop the basses one by one, and then I'll go and I'll find certain samples of certain screeches, and then I'll make them my own.
Screeches?
They're screeches. They're
Shout out Screech Powers.
Screech. There's what is the other one? Reese's, and then there's a lot of bass varieties you can go choose from.
Found you. He wasn't lying, y'all.
And so I go and I find these sounds, and then I make them my own. I go and I re-engineer them. I resample them, and then I plug them into Vital, and I do something different with it because I don't want to use someone else's work. I want it to be my work. But at the same time, like if you're making EDM, most of the time you're taking someone else's stuff.
Okay.
But that one you heard, that's me saying the words. I just made it super high pitched, and then
You were saying in that?
that was me, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The
I
things
thought
you
that
can do
was
with
a.
technology.
I thought that was a. What's it called when you use a?
And the song we're talking about is When I'm Drunk. It was the first one I released under SLYYCRUZ.
A sample. I just drew a blank.
Yeah, no, that's me. Everything I do, I try to do on my own. Like whenever you hear a song and you hear a guitar in there, it's likely I'm on that guitar. And if I'm not on that guitar, it's likely I resampled it and made it totally different. But most of the songs you hear, like the one about the heartbreak, that's completely me on guitar. I'm sliding. I know guitar very well. I know how to play the bass. I don't know how to play the drums, but I'm a computer whiz, so I figured out how to do it without needing to play the drums.
What program do you use?
I use Ableton.
Okay.
So I spent $900 when I was 19, and it's been the best investment of my life.
And you get to have it for a lifetime?
Yeah.
Dang, that's.
And there's already a new version of it out there, but I don't think I'll buy it until I start making money off of music.
Right.
Because I don't need it. I already know what I know.
Yeah.
And I know I don't know what I don't know. So.
Right. Which is a good place to be, man. It really is.
Really?
I just started getting monetized as far as some of my songs. They're coming back around, and it's not a ton, but at least it's like I'm seeing something come from it.
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying?
And
I haven't
correlate-
even really been plugging my stuff at all. But I think the more I get with artists like you that are on the path, artists like you that are on the path, I really think that some of that little small monetization,
and
I think it can take off. And
That's
if it
what Rance said
doesn't,
to me, because he didn't want to make EDM whenever I met him. He was trying to make lo-fi.
what's
and-
lo-fi?
And it's like what you hear whenever you're studying,
Lo-fi music to chill and relax to.
It's just like boom.
It's
This is very mellow, hype,
It's like
mellow shit.
okay. Like the college.
It's always got the Bart Simpson on it,
Yeah.
Like elevator music type shit.
But it's always got Bart Simpson on it for some reason.
Dude, you said that, and I'm such a visual guy. My
You were like,
visuals,
I know it. I know what
and
you're
now
talking
I'm
about.
like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Seriously, because it's like I don't know which one's the strongest, and maybe you guys can tell me. Maybe we can have this conversation real quick. But what's your strongest sense? Like, do you smell something and it takes you back, or do you see something? Are you visual? Are you auditory? Or I guess what would you call smell? Because I think
I think it's just smell.
obviously learning, you're not gonna you can learn a smell, but it's going to be more visual or
I'm
auditory.
very auditory. Like,
More than visual?
more than visual. And that's weird to say because I learn not by seeing, I learn by doing.
Right.
Like you can show me and I'll learn, but then I got to go back and I got to do it myself.
Right. To instill it.
Yeah.
So me and you seem to kind of be very similar with the way just our personalities are. But I took a test one time with this car dealership that I didn't end up working for. Once the drug test came, it was kind of like.
But like I took a test and it was auditory for me. Like I can hear, and if someone tells me something, I learn and I don't forget.
Okay. But so the thing I tested high in everything except for learning new systems. And what that meant to me was if it's something brand new to me, I'm like, gosh, what the hell? And I'm not very good at it. But once I start working with it, I'll master it. But brand new, I don't know it.
Right,
I'm terrible at it. I don't pretend like I'm good at it. I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself in that situation too? But then once you start working
I did.
at it.
So I was introduced to EDM through the Realist, and I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about it.
Oh, yeah. We have
Dom,
on pod.
Dom and Devin.
Realist. Over there at Skirt's place, remember?
I wasn't
The
there that
duo-
day. I was
oh,
out
yeah,
working.
you were
I was
working.
out of town.
Whenever they were
The
getting their
duo.
shit together, it took them about like 6 months, you know, and then they had a really good production already. They were already like learning things. They were just nonstop watching YouTube videos,
Which,
nonstop,
shout out to Realist
nonstop.
actually right now because I've seen their numbers and they're coming up, bro.
You know, they were just
Realist
they
is
were
gonna come up.
they were
Red bar
just
too.
nonstop making stuff. And I had a homie. He said, "Hey, I gotta take you to go meet these guys. I think you need to meet them." So I pull up, and at the time I was dealing shrooms, and I had an ounce on me, and before I left, I handed them the ounce, and I also had some shroom tea on me, and I gave them the shroom tea, the rest that I had. I said, "I want y'all to take this. I want y'all to binge it, and then I want to hear what comes after. And what's come after is what they are now."
On some real shit.
On some real shit. Like I did that, and I don't know if they'll ever give me credit for that, but I did that for them.
Give them a little taste on some shit.
Hey man, where you at, bro? What you
Whenever I
gonna
met
do?
them, I broke one of them through on DMT. The other one said I've already done it. I don't want to do it right now, but I broke one of them through.
Okay, explain to me. So sobriety is where you're at right now. Where does DMT and where does mushrooms fall into the scale of staying sober?
It's medicine. I don't ever consider that as if I take a mushroom, I don't think I'm breaking sobriety.
Okay,
But for probation's sake,
Medical,
I
because
can't do
even
that.
play for
but
medical
you can
use.
fail a test for mushrooms.
if they're testing me specifically, but they never will.
How long does that
Psilocybin.
shit get? I don't know.
It stays in your system for a good 3 days.
Yeah, it's called psilocybin.
I thought it was just like food poisoning.
No.
Psilocybin
So-
is
Is a drug that
drug
makes
that's
you
at play.
So the
hallucinate,
mushroom does mess with your stomach, and the way to get through that is just take like 6 Tums, and you won't feel that, and you'll just feel the shrooms. But
So I've taken mushrooms before. I've never done DMT.
But I've done the extract
DMT
where you
is
make
the
it into
god-
a tea.
They call it the god.
It's the God
drug.
molecule, and the difference between DMT and mushrooms is one branch of the molecule, and they call it it's the God molecule.
DMT is what your brain creates to make dreams.
It's
Yeah,
right here.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
right here. So it's your pineal gland, and that's why in a lot of sacred
What'd you say
religions,
about my peanut? No, I'm just joking.
in a lot of sacred religions, and a lot of ancient tribes, they would worship honeycombs, or they would worship a frog, or they would worship, some entity, and all those entities tie back into the pineal gland.
Right. Because you got the Colorado River toad, and the Colorado River toad makes DMT
If you lick it,
organically
yeah.
in its system. There's a tree that makes DMT.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's like you were telling me the
ayahuasca,
Panthers.
yeah, the
Ayahuasca.
Panthers. So Panthers, they'll go and they'll seek, and they actually live in these trees. That's where they stay. That's their domain, and it's because they're creatures greater knowledge than we'll ever know. Like we'll never know because we don't have that brain.
Right.
We can't relate, but ancient tribes know it, and that's why like Black Panther is such a cool show, like such a cool movie. Like the power of the Panther is amazing.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
And in Black Panther, he dies whenever he does the religion to gain the power. He dies. He eats a flower, and they bury him. And he comes out and he's emerged with the powers. But that's all exactly what I'm going into.
Right.
So the panther, they will seek out tree bark, the trees they live on, and they'll eat it. And then they'll go and they'll find leaves that help take the tree bark and break it down and make it ayahuasca in their stomach. And then they'll trip balls for like a good 15 minutes. They'll just be laying there. There's videos of them online, right? They're just like, and they're tripping. And they're like looking up. Who knows what they're seeing?
Right.
But then they get up and they go hunt.
Yeah.
And whenever they go hunt, I feel like they see the footsteps of what they're going for. Like it marks out for them.
Wow. Well, so I used to hear, I've heard that Vikings used to take mushrooms before they'd go and they'd
Yes.
invade.
Well, they would take mushrooms for a lot of things, and it's funny that you say that.
Did you know that Nazis
Or on
took
methamphetamines?
meth-
'Cause I got this
meth?
book right here on
Yeah.
Celtic religions.
Oh, nice.
Celtic mysteries. So we'll just go into this. Pictures. So as you know, they stole a lot from the Catholicism and Catholics, but they were all praising the same God. Like you got to
Right.
understand, all religions tie into one thing.
One.
It's all one. So
It's all one entity or being.
it's
Just,
all
said
one thing.
differently.
So it's just a different story retold for a different purpose in a different society.
Right.
But they're all worshiping the same thing. And have you ever heard of the Book of Enoch?
Dude, I have the book in my house.
Okay, so you know.
Yeah.
It's taken out of all Bibles. And the reason being is because in the Book of Enoch, there's a reference or not a reference, there's a scripture passage where Jesus is seated at a table surrounded by his brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And he tells them, I am the God of all gods. Understand that. Y'all are gods. Y'all are my brothers and sisters. But I am the one. I am him. And that's why it's taken out of passages, because it relates too much to Eastern religion.
Right.
It makes you think Hinduism and all that. You know,
Right,
other
right.
gods exist. What?
Interesting.
So
Well, Poseidon and Zeus and all that. That was before God. So
it's all no, but that ties into Western religion. That is a Western religion
right.
because it's the same story.
Interesting.
Everything
There's
has
Eastern and there's Western.
yeah.
Western focuses on the greatest good that you can possibly imagine, focusing your life being that greatest good, and then hopefully one day you'll meet that great good and you'll become one with it. That's Western. You know, Catholicism, Christianity, Greek mythology, all of it fall under that. Eastern focuses on the tiniest grain of sand or your breath and meditation and realizing that you
Yeah,
are
sorry.
nothing. That you are nothing. And you will remain nothing until you are enlightened.
Yeah.
And so they start on two opposite sides. You know, one focuses on the great, one focuses on the little.
Right. Monks, right? Am I right?
But
Monks.
then in the end, they all know.
They all end up being.
That's
the
well
same
put,
place.
dude. I'm telling you, this has been my
that's
most
good.
enjoyable time so
Like,
far.
and I
meeting
really
with
like
somebody and chatting, bro.
Eastern religion. I like it a lot more than Western. I love looking into Buddhism. I love looking into Hinduism. And their teachings, you know, they're all telling the same thing. They're teaching you morals of how to live your life, how to
Right.
obtain your nirvana, how to attain your God, because everyone's God is different.
Right.
And whether or not you're like, I don't think people are truly atheists. Like they might say they are, but like, I don't
They have
think
to
that's
think
true.
about
Like,
something at the end.
I think a lot of people have been skewed a certain way to where maybe they've had a bad encounter with say organized religion, whatever that really makes them run away from even the
Right.
possibility.
but they're not running from it because it's always with them, no matter what.
But they're
It's
trying
It's right
to
here. It's right here.
because they don't trust it. And if
Right.
someone isn't able to trust something at one point in time, maybe at a young point in their life, that changes their way of
It
seeing
does.
it
It does.
forever.
Yes.
Unfortunately, so that's why it's so important to
Hold on.
really like operate with each person you come in contact with, especially
saw
young kids
something.
that are impressionable. Man, keep that in mind.
I
You know
just
what
saw
mean?
something.
Your little way of distrusting the world can really imprint into somebody's head and make them see, for the rest of their life be that person who's not open to experiencing the love of life.
I
Yeah.
just saw something that's like funny, and don't take it the wrong way. I'm sorry. but
Oh
I have to
gosh,
say
I
it.
love when you
Uh,
preface this like this.
Atheists are just people that know that they have a dad and they just have daddy issues.
Well, with that being said, folks,
Oh man. I got one more thing to add.
Yeah.
this has been badass. I'm gonna add that.
Yeah, it's been
So,
a good time, dude. I like this. I love this podcast.
You know,
Yeah.
I love life. I've been at very, very, very dark times, very, very low points in my life. You know, I've almost jumped at one point. And before I jumped, it was like at 2 a.m. at night too, so it was weird. A white dove flew in front of me, and like we made eye contact. It fluttered there for a little bit, and then it flew off. And so I hopped off of what I was gonna jump, and I started laughing maniacally laughing, like holy smokes. Like-
I almost unalived.
I was like, and it was like the dove told me like, it's not your time, step the fuck down.
Right.
And so I stepped down and I laughed for like 3 minutes straight. And whenever I finally came to, I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I got so much to live for. There's so much life around me, and I closed myself in a circle, and that's what you do whenever you're in that addicted hole. You close yourself off and you trap yourself. But until you realize there's a higher power above you that can save you from that, you're gonna remain there. And the higher power for me came with that dog.
Right.
What's dog spelled backwards?
God, holy smokes!
Bars.
Whoa!
Bars.
Full circle, baby.
Full circle.
Oh my
Damn.
gosh!
Full circle.
Dude.
Hey, you've enlightened me on a lot of things
You
today,
just
bro.
opened your seventh chakra, dude.
Holy
And you
smokes!
strengthened me on my journey. Just this conversation here, dude. So I want to
Yeah.
give you props for that, bro.
Dude, Sly, I appreciate you coming on pod. Dude,
I appreciate the time.
This has been the dude.
We're gonna definitely have another one.
We're gonna have
for
another
sure.
one,
We're
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
have another one. I'm glad
is
you
great.
came on and said your truth, man, and told it how it is. It's one of those things too, and I hope that the locals watch this and people will see who you've become now and what you've accomplished now and how better you are and better healthy you are and everything, because that's a plus, dude. Like, I want people to understand, like, when come ups happen, it's quiet until somebody says, hey, I need you to tell your story, and then your come up becomes something. And maybe see somebody, this is just coming from me, but maybe somebody sees you in a dark, a bad light, and
No,
they see this and they're like,
I'm probably a villain in many people's lives.
right, but now they see
Which
you
can
who
either
you are
lead to
now.
you going back down that dark path, saying, "Hey, damn it, I'm just this fuck up in people's
never
eyes."
will.
But think about it.
I never will.
Gotta just accept the fact that you fucked up.
Yeah.
This is
And I
me
did.
talking to me.
I
It's
have.
not talking to you. I'm sorry if I
No,
came off like that.
it didn't.
Me thinking about myself because I'm dealing with the same stuff, man. A lot of things that I have just on my path I've just like disregarded.
And you just gotta.
You have to. So it doesn't mean that you don't care that you've made those mistakes. It just means that going forward, you can't live in the past.
Exactly.
Now, when those things come up, or if it's something that's really holding you back from going forward, you have to address
it.
that. But it's one day at a time. So,
Yep, bars.
And that is one thing I've
yep,
learned.
show it off, baby.
Oh yeah, show it
That's
off,
it.
dude. Show the fuck off, man.
So here's my desire chip. I was unable to attain a month chip because, as I said, I got drunk, belligerent on the 14th.
Oh, so you were on a path because you told me you started in January, and then you what's it called when you?
I was
relapsed or
thinking
whatever?
that, like, I didn't want to attend therapy. I didn't want to attend counseling, but then I eventually did, and then the counseling eventually took me to AA.
Cool.
So my first AA meeting was like I want to say on the 15th, and I've not missed a day since.
That's cool.
And on the back of the desire chip, it says desire one day at a time, because you're desiring to quit. You got to take it one day at a time.
Yep.
And it has the AA's mantra. It says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I live by that.
So help me God.
Yeah,
Bars.
I live by
Good
that.
stuff. Hey, and you know
So
what that
help
one
me-
day at a time
no,
means?
No, it's so help me whoever you believe in.
Well, God.
Yes, well,
Higher power.
it's a higher power.
You know why I believe that one day at a time is so important? Because there have been times where I'm like, dude, I'm sober now. I'm cool. We're cool, dude. And then all of a sudden the next day or maybe that night, after me not being humble with it, not realizing, okay, any moment this can come unraveled. Next thing you know, I'm back, what do they call it? Drugging and thugging.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
And
but,
so
like,
realize
it's
how
one step
important
at
it
a
is.
time.
That one day at a time is so important because it
One
is.
step at a time.
And then I'm not putting down whatever people want to do in their own time or even out of their own time. Whatever they want to do is.
Like, I don't put it down. Like, if you want to live your life the way you want to live your
Me
life, it
personally,
is your life.
I know what I can ingest and what things I can ingest and live my life.
All you
and
can
I know
do
what I
is
can't
what you
put in
can
my
do.
body. And if I do, then I'm going to be back down that dark hole and no one will see me, man.
I will say this: don't take advantage of it, but know that if you are on that path of being sober,
Like, don't be afraid to reach out for help.
yeah, and you fuck up one time, think back like, dude, I was sober for 3 days. I
Yep.
was sober for a week,
And get back into it.
and then get back in where it's like, okay, instead of thinking about the fuck up, I'm gonna go at least 2 weeks. I'm gonna try my best to go
Yep.
2 weeks. I'm gonna try my best to go 3 days or however long, but like I said, don't take advantage of that because then people are gonna start like, well, at least I was there for a week or whatever. No, don't think of it that way. You need to be more than a week. You need to be more than 3 days, and keep doing that, and keep striving for better. And I know that we all slip up. Everybody slips up. Everybody fucks up. Makes mistakes.
Everyone's
Be
human.
better. Just be better. Just be better for yourself.
Well, that sounds great.
That's it.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
This has been a good time.
I think that's a good way to end it.
I appreciate it, dude.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Tight.
Yeah, 100%.
This is good.
We'll see you next week, and like always, go fuck yourself. One day somebody's gonna figure out what that means. I don't know what that means.
What do you mean, what does it mean?
It's just the end. I've always had that as